home sweet dome again for the Minnesota Vikings off a very impressive showing last week against the Buffalo Bills. The progress from last year was apparent, and the first-team offense looks to keep alive a streak of not having to punt. Christian Ponder, Percy Harvin, and Chad Greenway are ready, and so are we. Vikings and Chargers next. Minnesota Vikings and San Diego Chargers coming up shortly as they are set to determine the coin toss. Good evening and welcome to Mall of America Field. Pete Bursich and Paul Allen, Ben Lieber, and Greg Coleman are on the sidelines. It's the Vikings and the San Diego Chargers. Former Vikings linebacker and former Chargers linebacker Ben Lieber is here for the Ben Bowl with tonight's Nissan Keys.
Thanks, guys. Let's take a look at this week's keys to the game. First of all, I'd love to see the tight ends get more involved. We've seen the receivers, how they can work. We've seen the workload out of Toby and how he can produce. I'd love to see the tight ends get more involved. Number two, we're going to stick with the offense. The 3-4 defense has been a problem for the Minnesota Vikings over the past. These angles, the blitzes are going to come from a lot of different places. I'd love to see them make quick sound adjustments on the sidelines and at halftime. And lastly, on the defensive side of the ball, you got to take advantage of San Diego's offensive line. They're decimated with 3 of the starters are out. We need to see our first-team defensive line and front seven really dominate that line of scrimmage.
Thank you, Ben. Those are the Nissan Keys. Hurry into your local Nissan dealer for Nissan Summer Saving Days. Visit ChooseNissan.com. Percy Harvin and the Minnesota Vikings are ready for the most important of the 3 preseason games where the starters play into the second half. Now, we just received some late information, Pete. Bad became worse for the San Diego Chargers. Quentin Jammer jammed his hamstring in pregame warmups, so he's going to join the likes of Phillip Rivers, Antonio Gates, Vincent Brown, Ryan Matthews, and a lot of significant Chargers not playing this evening.
You're absolutely right, and for the San Diego Chargers, injuries have been just a huge part of this game for them for the last 2 seasons, and we're only 3 weeks into the preseason, Paul, and I understand a lot of these guys might be sitting or taken out for a rest. But if they're getting hit by injuries this early, it just seems like they're picking up where they left off, and you're having key players and guys that they need to step up. Guys like Quentin Jammer. I mean, that's bad news for this San Diego team, a defense that struggled already this preseason. You never know. These second-team guys may come out, may be fired up. They may get in there and fire a bullet. I don't know. But, for San Diego, this is not what they want to see in the preseason.
Nate Kading kicked off against the Vikings last year to begin the 2011 season. Percy Harvin went 103 to the end zone. Nate Kading tore up his knee and was lost for the season. The simulcast is underway, and here's the kick. Marcus Sherrills fields it to the 5, to the 10, to the 15 as he heads to the right side and spurts through the Chargers kick coverage team. He is taken down at about the 22-yard line. It's a 23-yard return for Marcus Sherrills. Now the Minnesota Vikings offense heads onto the field. Just underway from Mall of America Field, the 3rd preseason game. Christian Ponder has thrown for 216 yards this preseason. 1 touchdown. It was last week. It went to Jerome Felton. Maybe most impressively for the Vikings offense, through the first 2 preseason games, the first-team offense has had the ball 5 possessions. They've scored 4 times and have yet to punt. Couple of receivers left. Percy Harvin and tight end Kyle Rudolph in motion. Offset eye left behind Christian Ponder, who fades to fire on first down. He pumps, fires left, incomplete. Ball swatted at the line of scrimmage. The ball was swatted by Abreu Franklin, the former member of the San Francisco 49ers and New Orleans Saints. Abreu Franklin is opposite the Minnesota Moving Company, the offensive line, which should end up being one of the best offensive lines in the NFC North. Matt Khalil, Charlie Johnson, John Sullivan, Brandon Fusco in his 2nd year from Slippery Rock, and Phil Lodehold. He's in a contract year. He's our behemoth right tackle, 2nd down. Hits 2nd and 10, I formation, handoff Toby. And Toby goes to the right, goes back to the left, and right into the teeth of the Chargers defense. It's just a gain of 1, and it's 3rd and 9.
And Paul, this is we focus so much on Christian Ponder and his completion percentage. That's why on 1st and 10 you got to have that 70% completion percentage, because you're looking at 2nd and long, you get a short run out, you short run, now you're looking at 3rd and long. To go back, the broken up pass of Abreu Franklin, John Sullivan has to find a way to get Abreu Franklin's hand up, and it's kind of a rule in the offensive line world. If that defensive lineman sticks that paw up, you better bury him and make him hurt and not want to put that arm up again. So offensive line not being soft, but these are the little techniques, these are the little nudges each way, that way, this way, that they're going to get better at. So again, the Vikings looking at a 3rd and long against a defense last year, Paul. It was one of the worst in the league on 3rd down.
Ponder out of the shotgun, trips left. Devin Aroma should do right. Ponder takes the snap from John Sullivan on 3rd and 9. Chargers rush 4. He fires left, incomplete. He missed Michael Jenkins at the 31-yard line. And for the first time this preseason, the Vikings' first team offense is relegated to a punt.
It's not how you want to start the 3rd game of the preseason. And, in the opener, we talked, Paul, San Diego with 18 guys out. That news gets down to the players. And as a coach, you worry that that's going to take the edge off some of these guys. And in that first drive, we saw 2 broken up pass, a timing route, a hook route that was late. So the Viking offense just looks a little out of kilter.
Chris Kluwe averaging 40 yards per punt, gets off a decent one. Michael Spurlock retreats to the 25-yard line in front of his bench, and he hauls in a fair catch following a 52-yard punt by Chris Kluwe. Offensively, it was interesting to note for the Vikings, without Adrian Peterson this evening, we do expect him to play in the season opener against Jacksonville. Jerome Simpson did not play. Remember, he'll be out the first 3 games of the season, so they went with Michael Jenkins, Percy Harvin, Kyle Rudolph was in there, even Devin Aromashadu. As you see Adrian Peterson in pregame warmups, they worked him rigorously tonight, but he will not play once again off that ACL injury from Christmas Eve last year. Toby Gerhart will get the majority of the reps, and former Charger Jordan Todman will also make his preseason debut. Here come the San Diego Chargers without Phillip Rivers, Ryan Matthews, and Antonio Gates. Charlie Whitehurst goes back to pass. He dumps it right, and it's caught by the tight end at the 30-yard line, and bringing it in for a Chargers first down is the 11-year veteran Randy McMichael, tackled by Antoine Winfield. That is a gain of 7 yards. He dove ahead for what I thought was a first down, but he came up just a few yards short, second down.
And that's the classic play-action pass, and Brian Robinson doing a nice job being an athlete and getting in the way, almost intercepted that ball. I think Brian's going to watch that one on tape tomorrow and see he had a chance there to take one to the house, but a complete pass, and got to play the next down.
And Whitehurst goes back to pass on second down, and he is sacked by Fred Evans, the replacement for an injured LaTroy Guion. Fred Evans traps Charlie Whitehurst at the 25.
Yeah, just a great job up front, and this is what we're talking about with a backup offensive line. And one of the things is that they have a wide receiver wide open down the field, so the little trap pass, 2 play actions right away. They know the Viking defense is fired up. They're going to be aggressive, trying to use the misdirection to buy some time. But Fred Evans finding a gap, getting inside, sacking Whitehurst before he can get the ball off. Fred Evans, that's why you say sometimes the pass rush is more important than the pass protection in the back end. Fred Evans proved that right there.
Charlie Whitehurst out of the shotgun on 3rd and 10, takes the snap, looks deep over the middle, fires incomplete. Malcolm Floyd, the intended receiver. Rookie Josh Robinson on the coverage. It's fair to note, Pete, for the San Diego Chargers, they are without starting left tackle Jared Gaither, left guard Tyrone Green, and center Nick Hardwick. They didn't even make the trip.
No, they didn't. They kept him out, and you take a look at the defense in the back end. I mean, quarterback having time, the rhythm on the offense might be a little off, but for Josh Robinson to squeeze that down and make a play, that's a great sign.
Here's the Cyphers punt, end over end. Marcus Sherrills from his own 35 heads to the left flag on the play. Marcus makes one man miss, and then he's corralled by several Chargers at the 40-yard line. Marcus Sherrills, after a 40-yard punt, trying to win the punt return job, battling the likes of Josh Robinson, and Jerry is right. Marcus Sherrills being able to return punts, also having a good preseason as a cornerback, maybe your 4th or 5th corner. That's really going to help him make this team.
Return team number 24, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Wayne Elliott is the replacement ref. Each team has had the ball, and each team has managed to go 3 and out. First quarter action from Mall of America Field. 13 minutes to go in the first quarter. No score on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Ben Lieber, Greg Coleman. No score from Mall of America Field. Here as they look at the impact players for tonight. Blair Walsh, 7 of 8 this preseason. Jared Allen off 22 sacks last year. He looks to get his first of this preseason. And Percy Harvin, also the game-changing slot receiver, looks to have a big game as the Vikings have it 1st and 10. And the handoff goes to Toby Gerhart, and he is hit at the line of scrimmage and may have gained a yard. Jared Allen with 22 sacks last year. Pete, do you think he can do that again?
I really think he can. Jared Allen in this offseason, he talked about it in camp, how He knows his body. He knows what he has to do, how much he has to practice, what he needs to get himself ready. And, you know, as a player with 22 sacks, he has that luxury. But I don't think, I remember the talk 2 off seasons ago, or last off season, was he has to get back on the board. He has to get aggressive again. I think he's ready to go.
Handoff, Toby Gerhart to the right side, runs into Corey Leger, and that'll be a loss of a yard. So 3 carries for Toby Gerhart for 1 yard. Percy Harvin, our final impact player, he checks back into the game. Best slot receiver in the NFL, Pete?
He's becoming one of them, and if he's not the best slot receiver, he's definitely the most versatile player. But talking to the coaching staff, they're most impressed with him right now, Paul, on his down-the-field type routes. So he's becoming a better and more polished receiver.
U.S. Bank impact players. U.S. Bank, all of us serving you. Ponder goes out of the shotgun on 3rd down, takes the snap, looks left, passes left, incomplete. Through the hands of Michael Jenkins, and Michael Jenkins was covered up that time by Antoine Cason, a 5th-year corner from Arizona. Quentin Jammer is out after jamming his hammy in the pregame warm-ups. The Vikings a little more, I don't want to say sloppy, but certainly not rhythmically sound the way they were against Buffalo last week.
Now we're seeing a direct result of not being able to move the ball on 1st and 2nd down and putting yourself in a 3rd and long situation. So the run game right now, Paul, is non-existent. This 3-4 is giving our offensive line some problems. They got to huddle up on a sideline and figure this thing out.
Chris Louis' first punt went for 52. There's the perfect snap from Colin Leffler. End over end, Michael Spurlock from his own 29 darts to the left, and he tries to run away from Harrison Smith, and Eric Frampton escorts him out of bounds after a 47-yard punt. San Diego offense take 2. No score from All of America Field. First quarter, this is Vikings football. 3 for the Minnesota Vikings. No score from All of America Field. Let's take a look at what some people are saying about the Minnesota Vikings via the social network. From @ThatDudeDevon, at Vikings football, passing attack must be on point and defense needs to play smash mouth football for a W tonight. Hashtag Vikings game. Don't miss the State Fair, the great Minnesota get-together, now through Labor Day. Charlie Whitehurst replaces Phillip Rivers as quarterback this evening. Phillip not playing, along with Antonio Gates and Ryan Matthews. And the handoff goes to the tailback, who runs right up the middle, right into the teeth of the Vikings defense. And that is LaRon McClain, a 6th-year hybrid from Alabama. He was stood up by Aaron Henderson. There's Jamarcus Sanford replacing Mistrell Raymond, who's not playing right now. For more, here's Ben Lieber.
That's right, PA. Mistrell Raymond, the report is, in the pregame warm-up, had a little bit of a low back issue. Not sure what it is, but that's the reason why Jamarcus Sanford is starting opposite Harrison Smith.
Harrison Smith, the rookie from Notre Dame, got his first start last week. By all accounts, played pretty well. Up front for the Vikings, Brian Robinson, Fred Evans, Kevin Williams, and Jared Allen. Fred Evans has a sack. 2nd and 7. Jacob Hester with the call to the left side, and he crosses the 35-yard line for a gain of 3 yards. That'll make it 3rd and right around 5 for the San Diego Chargers. Undefeated this preseason, 2-0.
Yeah, and you look at that record, and you know, preseason, do the wins matter? Do they not? As the Vikings go to nickel on this big 3rd down. The challenge now is really the Vikings. The Viking defense is facing really what should amount to a junior varsity kind of an offense. So all backups across the board. We have our starters in. They can't relax because these guys the offense gets paid too. They got to step up and make a play.
Everson Griffin in as a defensive tackle as Whitehurst wheels to pass, fires it to the right. It's caught. We had a missed tackle at the 40-yard line and a San Diego Chargers first down. Missed tackle by Jasper Brinkley. It's a gain of 8 yards, and it is for the San Diego Chargers their first down of the game.
Well, and this is what you want on defense on a 3rd and medium, is to get the ball out to the flat first. Chad Greenway there to make the tackle. Chad just has to take a little bit better angle inside out to the football and bring him down. Just push him back and push him out of bounds. So a missed opportunity. Again, you have to have all cylinders firing. You have to tackle on good angles, or else the Chargers are going to move that football.
No score, 10 minutes to go in the first quarter as Whitehurst goes on play action. Flag on the play. Passes left, and it's caught in Vikings territory at the 45-yard line. It is caught by Michael Spurlock, a 5th-year wide receiver from Mississippi. Gain of 11, pending penalty. The referee is Wayne Elliott.
2 fouls on the play. Offside. Defense number 79. Holding. Offense number 79. Penalties offset. 3rd down. 1st down, I'm sorry.
Now this evening, Pete, like last week, you talked about safety play for the Vikings, where you wanted to see one of the safeties preferably jump up and play well like Mr. L. Raymond. This week, it's the linebackers, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at that group, Jasper Brinkley, he's 3 games into it after being out for a year. Aaron Henderson, he's getting his chance. I think Aaron is really in a battle with Marvin Mitchell. I think really the only position battle on the field. And Chad Greenway, again, we've seen what we need to see more out of him are those splash plays. And we've seen the defensive line get better. We've seen the safeties make some plays. The linebacking crew needs to step up and become a force, make some plays. Tackles for losses, batted down balls. That group has to play well.
It's 1st and 10. The Vikings in their 4-3 base as Whitehurst goes back to pass, pumps, fires right, incomplete at the 25-yard line. Should have been a completion, and should have been a completion to Robert Meacham, the 4-year New Orleans Saint, but he couldn't bring it in on the Vikings bench side of the field. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, a nice deep ball, kind of a lollipop, and this is the situation right here where you could see that Harrison Smith was a little late getting out there. His angle should be more right down that line to really clean that wide receiver's clock. That wide receiver, he could tell he had the alligator arms a little bit, and he heard those footsteps because he knew that Harrison Smith was bearing down on him. Harrison needs to get better angles if he wants to unload on that.
It's 2nd and 10, no score first quarter. Whitehurst with a deep drop, looks to set up a screen to the right. Caught McLean with one hand to the 45. Barrels to the 50 in front of the Vikings bench, tackled at the 45, and it's a gain of 10 yards, tackled by Aaron Henderson. That will be a San Diego Chargers first down. The Vikings offense went 3 and out, 2 consecutive possessions. The defense forced the Chargers to go 3 and out, but now the Chargers are in business.
Yeah, Paul, I think the problem with the Vikings right now on defense especially is we're matching San Diego's enthusiasm, and that's not a good thing right now. A week ago, Mr. L. Raymond, big 8-yard tackle for loss, 5, 6 purple jerseys around the ball carrier. On that last screen, Aaron Henderson was the only one that was really there to make the play. So the Viking defense is not playing to their level, they're playing to their opponent's level.
On 1st and 10, Whitehurst play action again into the Vikings base defense. Whitehurst deep over the middle, incomplete. Harrison Smith, the rookie first-round pick from Notre Dame, the closest possible receiver, and great pressure applied that time by Kevin Williams.
Now, out front, Kevin Williams is doing exactly what we should, and he can split that double team, come off the edge, redirect, and gets a late hit on Charlie. For Harrison Smith, I mean, Charlie Whitehurst, let's face it, he heard Kevin coming and just got rid of that football. If it would have been anywhere close, I think Harrison Smith would have been there to intercept it. And that's what I'm looking for out of Harrison now, Paul, is make a diving interception. Let's see his hands, and if he can get back there and bring down those passes, he's going to get himself 3 or 4 picks this year.
Charlie Whitehurst, 3 of 6 for 26 yards. I formation, handoff Jacob Hester. Up the middle, he runs through a Jamarcus Sanford tackle. And Jacob Hester will rally for about 4 yards to the Vikings' 42-yard line.
Yeah, Paul, just too much up the middle. On defense, you cannot let them churn like that in between the tackles. And I'm looking at this defense now. I don't see anybody in that huddle, John, getting guys together. Somebody out there needs to take control and not be happy with what's going on, right? Yeah, the offense has sputtered a little bit, but the defense can't allow what amounts to a second-team offense to march all the way down the field, and they're getting close to field goal range.
The running back for the Chargers, actually Jackie Battle. The Chargers 1 of 2 on 3rd down conversions. This is 3rd and 6. And Whitehurst back to pass, flags on the play, false start, make it 3rd and 11. Jackie Battle getting the reps for Ryan Matthews.
False start, offense number 79. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Ryan Matthews broke his clavicle on the very first carry of the first preseason game against the Green Bay Packers. Jackie Battle, LaRon McLean, Jacob Hester, they've been filling in for Ryan Matthews. Again, the Vikings defense going against replacements at left tackle, left guard, and center for the San Diego Chargers. No Antonio Gates this evening. Vincent Brown, he also injured himself earlier in the preseason. Eddie Royal is out. This Vikings defense should not give up many, if any, points to the Chargers in the first half. And now it's 3rd and 11 for San Diego. They scrimmage from the logo. 3rd and 11 from the Vikings' 47-yard line. Whitehurst, the veteran, he's out of the shotgun. Blitz is on. He'll fade it left into single coverage. Incomplete, flag on the play. They'll call pass interference on Chris Carr. Pass interference on new Viking Chris Carr, allegedly holding Malcolm Floyd.
Yeah, and the Vikings coming on that zone blitz.
Holding, defense number 25. 5-yard penalty, automatic First down.
Now, Chris Cook is not playing this evening, suffered a concussion last week against Buffalo. That would be his spot. And rookie Josh Robinson from Central Florida played pretty well last week against Buffalo. He and Chris Carr battling for that ever-important nickel spot.
Right, and that was a good call by the official. You could see Chris Carr contacting too far down the field. And Paul, if there's a veteran free agent that's been brought in that's really been, I don't want to say disappointing, but a guy who hasn't really showed up. He gave up a big touchdown a week ago against, or a couple weeks ago against San Francisco. He's not been on the positive side of a lot of plays on defense. So for a guy like Carr, he needs to step up.
He's in his 8th year from Boise State. Tight end in motion to the right of Charlie Whitehurst, out of the eye. Hands off to Jackie Battle, tries the middle, and Chad Greenway, 3rd leading tackler in the NFL last year. The Vikings leading tackler. He catches Battle for a tackle for loss. Chad had 14 of those last year. It's 2nd and 11.
There we go. That's what we wanted to see, and that's a linebacker stepping up and making a play. And you know, Paul, the San Diego offense is getting in a bit of a rhythm. Now you get them in a lost position, lost run, 2nd and long. I didn't see any other guys in purple going up to Chad and congratulating him. I'm not real happy right now, Paul, with the intensity and effort level on the defense.
No score, Mall of America Field, first quarter. Charlie Whitehurst out of the shotgun, faces the Vikings blitz. It's picked up, and there goes Charlie to the left, across the 40 to the 35, first down to the 30-yard line, and Charlie Whitehurst with the Seattle Seahawks last year runs out of bounds after a sprint of 13.
Well, you can't allow a guy like Charlie Whitehurst this kind of a pocket, but what we saw was just a lack of discipline in the rush lanes of the defensive line. You had too many guys going outside. All 4 defensive linemen went to the outside of their respective offensive linemen. That just opens up a huge hole. And for Charlie Whitehurst, who, trust me, throws before he runs, to see that kind of green and take it for that far, that's a mental error up front by the pass rush.
1st and 10 Chargers, I formation. Whitehurst back to pass, and he is sacked by Jared Allen. That's his first sack of the preseason. Charlie Whitehurst never had a chance.
Well, in situations like this is exactly what you need. You need your big players to step up and make big plays and try to rally a defense. And Jared Allen, just with the speed rush on the outside, using his hand, rips and gets through. And, you know, Charlie Whitehurst fell down. It was kind of like the Brett Favre sack that he gave up a couple years ago to Strahan, for the record. Just kind of fell down to get out of the way.
It's Jared Allen versus rookie tackle Mike Harris, a 7th rounder from the University of California at Los Angeles, as Whitehurst under center goes back to pass, screen left, incomplete. Aaron Henderson all over the tailback, and it'll make it 3rd and right around 21.
Well played by the defense, and nice job by Aaron Henderson playing smart. When teams are getting destroyed in the pass rush, they like to go to these screens, they like to go to draws and other types of delays, and you see Aaron picking it up, reading it, stepping up, and making the play. So well executed by the defense, Paul. They need a big play right here. For San Diego, they're just looking to get into field goal range to put some points on the board.
Yeah.
So for the Viking defense, you can't just let them get down to the 22-yard line.
2 receivers right, 1 left. Charlie Whitehurst out of the shotgun. The replacement center snaps it to him on 3rd and long. He dumps left, and it's caught at the 40-yard line and cutting to the right to the 35. Well in advance of the first down is former Dolphin and Eagle Ronnie Brown. It's an 8-yard gain, and they did exactly that. Probably paved the way for a Nate Kading field goal, or certainly a field goal opportunity. This will be a try of about 50 yards. Rough season for Nate Kading last year, the 9th-year guy from Iowa. All set for the season, boots the ball to Percy Harvin. Not only does Percy go 103 to the end zone, Nate Kading tore his ACL and was lost for the season.
Is that what you call adding insult to injury?
This will be a 50-yard try, a left hash. No score, first quarter. Snap, spot, right-footed kick with plenty of distance, and it is good. San Diego Chargers take an early 3-0 lead on the Minnesota Vikings. 4:55 to go in the first quarter on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Lead on the Minnesota Vikings. San Diego goes 13 plays, 37 yards, took 6 minutes 49 seconds. Nate Kading with a 50-yard field goal, kicking the Chargers to a 3-0 lead. Clothing, by the way, is provided by Hammer Made. Perfect fabric, finish, and fit. Pure style. Located in the Galleria. Vikings defense a little lethargic so far, Pete.
Yeah, and that's the thing with a week ago. Mistrell Raymond tackles behind the line, guys flying to the football. Paul, I haven't seen any of that tonight. I mean, I know it's a preseason sack and Whitehurst fell down, but come on, celebrate with your teammates. Get fired up.
Here's the ensuing kickoff. Marcus Sherrills retrieves it at the goal line, heads up the right hash, darts to the left of the 15, has one guy to beat to get around the corner to the 20 to the 25, and Marcus Sherrills walks out of bounds at the 29 after a 29-yard return. The Minnesota Vikings looking for a spark. Bring the offense onto the field. This is Vikings football. Allen is always wired, but tonight he's wearing a microphone.
I forgot to tell you, I think they threw a mic on me today. They did? I think they threw a mic on me today. Stay away. I'm 5-0 today, just to let you know. They threw a mic on me today. I don't know. Somewhere. Let's get our work done and get on out, huh? Let's go, get our work done, let's go. Come on. Let's dominate this run, fellas. Let's go.
Visit Vikings.com for exclusive wired sound all season long. Welcome back, 3-0 San Diego. Christian Ponder on 1st and 10. Zips one over the middle for a 6-yard gain to Kyle Rudolph. Be nice to see Kyle get into the end zone tonight.
Yeah, it really would. And already in this series, we've seen some adjustments being made. And Christian Ponder, with all the time in the world to sit back in that pocket and read and go from his first to second to his third read, and that was Kyle Rudolph. And they had that rapport, and they're building it, and it looks great.
That was Kyle's 4th preseason reception. He had 2 at San Francisco a couple of weeks ago. 2nd down, 2nd and 2, I formation. Handoff, Toby Gerhart spurts up the middle for a Vikings first down. It's the Vikings' first down of the 3rd preseason game. Between the hash marks to the 46-yard line, a gain of 9 for a man averaging 5.5 yards per carry this preseason.
Yeah, and for Toby, this is what we're starting to do. We're starting to get that cutback style and a great block by Kyle Rudolph, who just had another reception, Paul. We talked about him receiving. He steps in, cuts off the defensive lineman, turns him outside, and gives Toby Gerhart a cutback lane. Nice blocking by the tight ends.
On 1st and 10, toss right to Toby Gerhart, looking for a block from Jerome Felton. He did not get it, thus no gain.
Yeah, it's always hard on the 3-4 defenses really to run outside because of the way that their fronts are set up. They usually always have a guy on either edge on the line of scrimmage, and that's immediate contain. And Jerome Felton didn't get out there to do enough damage to the lead linebacker to get Toby anywhere to run. But these 3-4 defenses, a lot of times you just open up the splits to try to open up those 2 gaps and cut back run play.
Interesting to note the Vikings have gone unbalanced with extra tackle Pat Brown, and his Ponder goes back to pass. Deep center of the field. Percy incomplete at the 7-yard line. Right between the hands of one of the more reliable receivers in the NFL, Percy Harvin. It's 3rd down.
Yeah. And as soon as the play is over, Bill Musgrave points at Ponder for making a good decision. Unbalanced line, offensive line usually means run. This ball hits Percy right where it needs to be.
Percy.
So for Ponder, excellent throw. For Percy, you've got to make that adjustment down the field and come up with that catch. That's one that we're used to seeing Percy Harvin catch.
Adrian Peterson sweating out the Percy Harvin play. Percy couldn't close on it, so it's 3rd and 10. Late in the 1st quarter, Chargers lead 3-0. Ponder, shotgun, receivers left and right. Chargers blitz. Christian floats out to the left. Dump left, caught Kyle at the 50. Reaches up the field for a Vikings first down at the 40-yard line. Kyle Rudolph coming right to left. Extends the drive with a 10-yard grab.
And it all starts up front. The offensive line is getting into a rhythm. They made some adjustments. You have a zone blitz coming from Ponder's right. Buys Ponder enough time to get to his outlet, which is Kyle Rudolph. And Kyle, he had another 4 or 5 yards to go. As a defense, when you zone blitz, you want him to throw that 3 or 4 yard route and make the tackle. Kyle Rudolph is talented enough to turn that thing up and move the chains.
1st and 10, Gerhart the single set. Percy Harvin slot right. Handoff Toby. Hole on the right side. Lowers the helmet at the 40. Drags the Charger to the 37. Effortless gain of 7.
One of the stories going into the season was Charlie Johnson, and Charlie on that last play, as we take a look here at Bill Musgrave, who earlier pointed at Ponder, who loved that adjustment he made on that deep ball to Percy. But Charlie Johnson, big pull inside, kicking a guy out, giving room up the middle. We all were concerned. Can Charlie play guard? He had in the past. He was our left tackle last year. Looked great on that last play.
6 carries, 18 yards for Toby. Christian goes back to pass, looks left. He's going to fade it left for Michael Jenkins. Flag on the play. Incomplete at the 6-yard line. Eric Weddle. A bit shaken up on the play, put the hit on Michael Jenkins. Michael also a bit slow to get up. Once again, the flag came in early on the play. It's going to be holding on the San Diego Chargers. Defensive holding, and another member of the San Diego Chargers is limping about.
Defense number 20, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
It's Eric Weddle limping, but more significantly for the local scene, Michael Jenkins slow to get up.
Now, Michael, not a great speed receiver. He's a possession guy. Nice double move on the outside as he slows down and gets back going. And Antoine Cason, who was benched last year for bad play, is laid on it. Now, you just saw, for those watching at home, the difference between an Eric Weddle and a Harrison Smith. That was almost the same exact look. Harrison had earlier was a little late to. Weddle, a Pro Bowl, all-pro kind of safety, read it and was right there to make the play.
Deep in the first quarter, 3-zip Chargers, 1st and 10 Vikings from San Diego's 32. Ponder out of the offset eye, goes left, dumps, caught by Rhett Ellison. The rookie bounces off a safety at the 31 and falls ahead to the 30-yard line for a gain of 2. The Vikings are very deep at tight end. Rhett Ellison, the rookie from USC, they absolutely love. He wears Jim Kleinsasser's number. Kyle Rudolph, along with John Carlson, the Litchfield native, is out tonight. Told me before the game he'll probably play next week against Houston.
Well, that's encouraging news, and that's the thing, is you have such stacked up talent. I mean, and most of it is guys like Alan Reisner and Rhett Ellison, who I think are surprising. So sometimes when guys get injured, other guys step up, and that's a great thing to see.
Christian shotgun tries to float out to the right, and he is sacked. Christian sacked for a 3rd time this preseason. That's Larry English in his 4th year from Northern Illinois. He played at Northern Illinois for Jerry Kill.
Now Larry English with the speed move on the outside of Matt Khalil, and Matt just a little bit late, can't quite handle that speed around the outside. So you can see him protecting inside, spent a little bit too much time on the inside and got beat. So for Khalil, it's a technique thing. It's a mental thing. It's getting that body in the right spot.
Vikings 1 of 3 on 3rd down. This is 3rd and 18. Ponder takes the Sullivan snap. Chargers rush 3. Christian zips it over the middle. Caught by Percy Harvin at about the 27, maybe 28-yard line. It's shy of the first down. It's a gain of 13. And Blair Walsh, the rookie kicker from Georgia, one of our impact players this evening, he'll be on to attempt his 9th field goal this preseason. 9 field goal tries through 2 games in 1 quarter. That's a lot.
It is, and for Rhett Ellison, you want him kicking as many field goals as you can, Paul. And again, preseason is preseason. Regular season is going to be a whole nother world. But this is excellent work for the young kid, and the more work you can get, the better.
45-yard try for the diminutive kicker from Georgia. Cullen Leffler snaps. Chris Cluey holds. And that's the end of the first quarter. So if the Vikings are to tie this game, it will be on the first play of the second quarter. Blair Walsh, 7 of 8 this preseason. When we return, we'll see if he can nail a 45-yard field goal and tie the game at 3. The Vikings have a couple of sacks tonight, one by Fred Evans, the other by Jared Allen. We'll be back with second quarter action via simulcast shortly on the Vikings Entertainment Network. San Diego leads the Vikings 3-0 here. The Vikings all season across the KFAN Minnesota Vikings Radio Network. Pete Burcich, Greg Coleman, and yours truly are with you each week, along with exclusive interviews and your reaction after every game. That's Vikings Fan Line with Corey Cove and Mike Morris. To find an affiliate near you, please log on to Vikings.com. Here's Blair Walsh, 7 of 8 this preseason. First play of the second quarter, 45-yard try, left hash, snap spot, snaps good, spots down, and the right-footed kick by Blair Walsh splits no, it doesn't. He missed it to the left. I thought he nailed that thing from the bird's eye view. So that's the second miss this preseason for Blair Walsh, and the San Diego Chargers offense takes over, leading 3-0 on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Blair Walsh now has missed consecutive kicks in consecutive weeks. San Diego leads 3-0. Here is the Minnesota College Savings Plan Spotlight. It's Chad Greenway.
And for Chad Greenway, he knows what he needs to do. He's got to, we always talk about more splash plays, more big plays, as we see Chad making a nice tackle on the cutback, and we might have a late face mask call here on the Vikings. But getting back to Chad, you take a look, he had 5.5 sacks in 2008, and he's only had 4 since then. Hasn't had interception since 2009. We'll get the call here real quick.
Holding.
Wayne Elliott.
Offense number 60. 10-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
Peter.
And you don't want to sit here and pick and be negative, but you know what? For Chad, Pro Bowl player, I have high expectations. I've seen guys like him. He has the potential, the ability to be a game-changing kind of a linebacker. And so, as his coach, I'm sure Singletary and Puckett, they're on him. Hey, man, jump around, go get something.
The Minnesota College Savings Plan, you can get there. We can help. Go to mnsaves.org. After the holding, 1st and 20 for the Chargers, leading 3-0, just underway in the second quarter. Blair Walsh missed a 45-yard field goal, and the handoff goes to the tailback between the hash marks for a gain of 1. 2nd and long as we kick it down to Ben Lieber with Adrian Peterson.
Thanks, guys. We got Adrian here. And Adrian, as you work back into the starting lineup, you had a chance to put the pads on for pregame warm-up. How'd that feel today?
It felt good, man, just to get back out here on the field. You know, I knew I wasn't getting any snaps today, but once I got here on the field, man, I really felt the energy just being out and seeing the other team warming up with the guys.
We have about 2 weeks away from the start of the regular season. What's a realistic expectation for you on the number of snaps as you get ramped up during the season?
To be honest with you, I don't see anything changing. You know, whatever it takes to do my load for the team. So 20, 30 carries, 50 carries, so I'll carry the load wherever, how many times they call my name.
Well, to do that, you're going to take carries away from Toby Gerhart, who's had a terrific preseason. Talk about his play throughout this preseason.
Man, he's been doing an outstanding job, filling in and, just taking care of business with that first group. It's not like I'm shocked, because that guy studied hard in the classroom and he practiced hard. So when he come out here, what you see is what you get. So you know what you're going to get from that guy every day.
All right, guys, you heard it there. He's going to miss not one step this season.
Thanks, Ben. It'll begin against Jacksonville, we believe, on the flagship FM 100.3 The Fan. I asked Leslie Frazier about Adrian's inclusion against Jacksonville. He was non-committal. We pause. 3-0 San Diego on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Has a couple of sacks. Chargers have the ball. 3-0 Chargers from All of America Field. 3rd and 24. Whitehurst out of the shotgun, hands to LaRon McClain, and he spurts through the right side across the 25 to the 26-yard line. That's a gain of 5. Here's the Frontier Communications trivia question. Only 3 NFL players have recorded 22 or more sacks in a single season. Name them. Our guy, Michael Strahan, and Reggie White.
Reggie White.
I'd say Reggie White. What about Mark Gastineau?
What about like Deacon Jones, or did he precede the sack total count? Because I know they didn't keep track until the early 70s.
Mike Cypher's punt. Marcus Sherrills jukes left, back to the right, makes a man miss, looks for a block, and is tackled at the 28-yard line. 50-yard punt by Mike Cyphers. 12:42 to go in the first half. San Diego leads 3-0. Here comes the Vikings offense when we return. This is Vikings football. Allen has a couple of sacks. Vikings trail by 3. Jared Allen wired for sound. Here's some pregame from 6'9".
Is that black? We got black Viking now?
Look like
Must have ran out of purple.
hips and hands released to your right.
We got so much going on. I just referred it back.
On first down, Ponder back to pass, zips it right, incomplete, no flag on the play. Yes, here it comes late from the back judge. It'll be pass interference against Kyle Rudolph. By the way, with Jared Allen wired for sound, receive access to more wired sound by watching Vikings game plan.
Defense number 95.
Here 11,
5-yard penalty.
Sundays
Automatic first down.
at 10 a.m. Pass interference against Kyle Rudolph. Christian Ponder, 4 of 8 for 33 yards into this possession. About 12.5 minutes to go in the first half. San Diego leads 3-0. Blair Walsh missed a 45-yard field goal try on the first play of the second quarter. That would have been the equalizing kick. Michael Jenkins shaken up on the last possession. He's back in the game. 2 receivers left. Devin Aroma should do right. Christian Ponder's under center, trailing 3-0. The tailback is Lex Hilliard. Handoff Lex. Runs into one Charger. He dropped the ball. Chargers ball. Fumble. Lex Hilliard. If he's trying to win the 3rd running back spot, that's not going to help. The fumble was forced by Eric Weddle.
And this is why Eric Weddle goes to the Pro Bowl. This is why he is the kind of player, and how because he's well paid. And I think they're talking it over as officials, Paul. I'm not sure what I think the Vikings are hurrying up to try to get a play in before. And Norv Turner throws the red flag.
What happened?
A good 30 yards. Well, I think the officials ruled the Vikings had the football, and Ponder smartly tried to get the offense to the line of scrimmage to snap, not allowing the replay. But Norv Turner right now freaking out, throwing the red flag. He wants a replay.
My eyes may be deceiving me, but I had my binoculars on, I think, Von Martin recovering it for the San Diego Chargers. We'll see. Norv Turner talking to the replacement referees with the Vikings trailing 3-0. 12:27 to go in the first half. Lex Hilliard has been the...
San Diego is challenging the ruling on the play of down by contact.
Lex Hilliard has been the backup to Toby Gerhart all preseason. Ben Lieber interviewed Adrian Peterson earlier. Again, we expect Adrian to play week 1 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll have the answer to the challenge when we return to Mall of America Field. This is Vikings football. Challenge in progress involving a Vikings fumble. About 12.5 minutes to go in the first half. We believe Lex Hilliard fumbled the ball and the Chargers recovered it. Somehow the replacement officials have deemed it down by contact. I don't know, Pete, you're seeing the replay. What do you think?
Well, this is one of those plays that makes you wonder. You know, and for Norv Turner, I know he was upset, but there's, to me, well, and that's a kind of a no-brainer right there. It's going to be San Diego football.
Wayne Elliott, the referee, with an expectation that the ball will be turned over to San Diego.
The call on the field is reversed. The player lost control of the ball before he was down by contact. That'll be first down, San Diego, on the 31.5-yard line. Please put 12:33 on the clock. San Diego is not charged a timeout.
Chargers lead 3-0. Lex Hilliard has been the primary backup to Toby Gerhart. Jordan Todman, who was on the Chargers practice squad, selected by the Vikings off that practice squad late in the year last year. He's a 4-3 guy who's been injured all preseason. He's in uniform this evening. Leslie Frazier told me before the game he expects Jordan Todman to play. You also have, as looking at on the bubble with cuts coming Saturday, then the other cuts after the 4th preseason game to get down to 53, Matt Asiata. Who's had a pretty good preseason, and this is kind of a big night for a guy like Matt Asiata.
I think Asiata has a great chance. I think he has more quickness and just more juice coming out of the backfield. But in Lex Hilliard's defense, I feel that was not all on him. There was a lot of breakdowns up front that caused that play to happen.
Here's a blitz by Jasper Brinkley, and Charlie Whitehurst is sacked for a loss of 4. Third sack tonight by the Vikings defense. Make that 4th sack. 1 for Fred Evans, 2 for Jared Allen, and a splashy play by Jasper Brinkley.
And this is what we expect out of a first-team defense going against this squad. Jasper Brinkley, a nice crossing blitz underneath, a Mike X, if you will, and Jasper Brinkley unblocked at the quarterback. That's the second time now for Aaron Henderson where he's taking a bullet for the team. Jared Allen gets a sack off one, Jasper Brinkley gets a sack off the other. So Aaron Henderson is giving it up tonight for his teammates.
Jacob Hester motions to the backfield, offset eye right behind Charlie Whitehurst, who goes back to pass, and here comes Kevin Williams, and Charlie Whitehurst throws the ball away. The fans of Mall of America Field want intentional grounding. Charlie was out of the pocket, trying to set up a screen. Kevin Williams is so vital to this team's success this year. Don't you agree?
I totally agree. I remember being down in Mobile, Alabama, watching Kevin Williams play coming out of Oklahoma State. This is, years ago. But Kevin, for a big man, is the quickness, the hands, as you see him get underneath, but he also has that power, the type of power that can embarrass an offensive lineman. So you talk about total package. Kevin, I think, has it. He was slowed last year with that foot injury, Paul, which I think affected him more than we were led to believe. I think he's ready to go this year.
On 3rd and long, flags on the play. Play clock ran out. Zach Bowman in the game, by the way, replacing Chris Carr.
Delay game. Offense number 6. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Check that. Zach Bowman, 24, in the game, replacing Antoine Winfield. Chris Carr still in the game. Chris Cook out this evening with a concussion. And Chris Carr, the cornerback, had a rough moment against Malcolm Floyd with a pass interference call. With no Cook, big evening for the likes of Josh Robinson and Chris Carr.
Right, I really think that with Chris Cook and his inability to stay on the field, at some point during the season, someone else is going to get that opportunity to start. Josh Robinson did some nice things tonight. You didn't see all of it. He's showing some signs, and Zach Bowman, more than Chris Carr, has shown up also as a DB in the preseason.
3rd and 18. Whitehurst takes a low snap, steps away from the pressure, fires over the middle, caught, first down at the 20-yard line. Michael Spurlock reaches out to the 17 on 3rd and 18. It's a 22-yard gain and a Chargers first down.
Now this is unacceptable with the blitz up the middle, giving Charlie some time, but the middle of the field is wide open. There was nobody there to help on that deep dig, and Josh Robinson giving chase. Harrison Smith, we don't know. We can't tell what's happening. All we can see is that the middle of the field between the hashes for 20 yards was wide open. So some kind of a mental error somewhere, some lack of execution. Really inexcusable, Paul, in the 3rd preseason.
3-zip Chargers, 2nd quarter. Whitehurst back to pass, hit as he throws, dumps it right, incomplete. Jasper Brinkley on the blitz. He hit the veteran backup Charlie Whitehurst. By the way, with a Whitehurst playing, the Chargers opted not to use Phillip Rivers and Antonio Gates this evening, even though they're both healthy, because 3/5 of the offensive line is out with injury. Do you agree with that call?
I don't know. I mean, you have to take a look at what Norv Turner's done. I think it depends on what he's going to do next week. He cannot look at that 4th preseason game now like the regular 4th one. He's going to have to get his starters in there to give Phillip Rivers some time. And I mean, I think he just cried no joy due to injury, and that could come back and bite him.
Whitehurst shotgun, takes the snap, flag on the play, zips it right, caught at the 8-yard line, shy of the first down. Once again, a flag came in. Should be a false start on the Chargers offensive line. Christian Ballard in the game for the Vikings, by the way.
Illegal formation. Offense number 79 was not up on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
Christian Ballard in the game for the Vikings, replacing Kevin Williams. Have not called his name much during this preseason.
No, we really haven't. And for Christian Ballard, he's still fighting to get and solidify on his 2nd position, because from what we've been told from Alan Williams, the defensive coordinator, he loves platooning his defensive linemen. So we're going to see a lot more of guys like Everson Griffin, Christian Ballard, DeAndre Reed, Fred Evans in for LaTroy Guion, assuming LaTroy comes back healthy. So we need to see a little bit out of him today. He's got to take advantage of every opportunity he gets.
2nd and 15, Chargers from the Vikings 22. Whitehurst play action, looks right, fires right, and it's caught at the 11-yard line by Spurlock in front of rookie Josh Robinson. It's a 10-yard gain, shy of the first down. And it'll be 3rd and short for the San Diego Chargers, threatening the Vikings end zone due to a Lex Hilliard fumble.
Well, Alan Williams getting a little more aggressive, playing some man-to-man defense and one-on-one on the outside. And Josh Robinson, he's learning, Paul. He has that talent, that ability. Got himself turned around a little bit and was late on the break. But you have someone backed up that much, you still have him 3rd and about 5. But Paul, this is somebody on his defense has to step up. I know this is a preseason game, but come on.
It's 3rd and 4 from the 11. Whitehurst out of the shotgun. Vikings rush 4, flags on the play. Another false start on San Diego. Make it 3rd and 9.
False start. Offense number 82. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Now that's a false start on Corey Sperry, a 4th-year wide receiver from Colorado State, trying to get the jump on the Vikings secondary. That'll back up the Chargers with 10:46 to go in the first half. San Diego 3, Minnesota 0. And for the Chargers, their only scoring drive took place in the first quarter. They went 13 plays, 37 yards. Nate Cady was good from 50. There's Charlie Whitehurst on 3rd down, 3rd and 9, 10.5 minutes to go in the first half. 2 receivers left, 1 right, low snap. Big rush, Whitehurst hit, incomplete. Brian Robinson from the left edge forced the hand, and the big ticket came punching home to pressure Charlie Whitehurst to throw it way too early.
Yeah, a nice disciplined pass rush. Brian Robinson beating his man on the outside. Harrison Smith coming on the blitz. And there's that bull rush that only so many people out there can do, and that's Kevin Williams. So, again, blitzing is all about the team making the quarterback at worst. I know Brian Robinson was disappointed to not make the sack, but he has to realize he forced Whitehurst to step up into that bull rush by Kevin Williams, and we got to accomplish what they needed to do.
Nick Novak with the 34-yard try. Snap spot, line drive kick is good. And thanks to a couple of field goals, the San Diego Chargers lead the Minnesota Vikings 6-0 in the second quarter on the Vikings Entertainment Network. After a spectacular preseason home debut last week, the Vikings trail by 6. 6-0 San Diego, 10:23 to go in the first half. Here is the Minnesota Department of Public Safety drive summary. Chargers 7 plays, 15 yards, 2 minutes, 10 seconds. Lex Hilliard with a fumble put the Chargers in plus field position, and they close with a field goal as the ensuing kickoff goes to Marcus Sherrills, and he gets loose with a bunch of flags on the left side to the 30, 40, 50 in front of the Chargers bench, and the former Gopher zips down to the 38-yard line of the Chargers, but again, myriad penalty flags early in the kick return, and that'll be analyzed momentarily. That drive summary provided to you by the Minnesota Department of Public Safety. Drive sober or get pulled over. Percy Harvin will be the Vikings kick returner when we debut against Jacksonville September 9th in this building.
During the run back,
holding
the return team number 24, 10-yard penalty, first down Minnesota.
Now things like that are interesting, Pete, because Zach Bowman might be fighting for a spot on the team.
Right, and these guys that aren't starting, they have to come out and play well on special teams, and that's kind of what this third preseason does for the backups, is to say you're not getting in the game, you're not dialed in as much into the game plan, and you're going to spend the majority of the first 3 quarters of this game covering punts, getting on those punt returns, and not so much worrying about how you play on defense, because again, as coaches, you need to get your starters ready, and if you're not starting, your best friend is a special teams coach.
Now Lex Hilliard fumbles on the last Vikings possession, and Matt Asiata is in it at tailback. Toby Gerhardt's evening might be over. Receivers left and right, couple of tight ends, they're balanced. It's 1st and 10 for the Vikings from their own 15. Blitz is on. Christian with a fade right for Percy Harvin. Caught spectacular at the 47-yard line. Quarterback pressure applied by rookie Melvin Ingram. Ponder to Percy for 40.
And that is what this team needed and this stadium needed. And again, going back to Ponder, he sees the blitz coming up inside, makes a check, buys enough time, and throws a perfect pass on the outside to Percy Harvin. Percy missed one earlier, Paul. He wasn't going to miss that one. And that is what great players do. They may make a mistake early, but they come back and they make up for it. And Percy Harvin made up for a big drop earlier with that catch.
Christian 5 of 9, 73 yards. Hands the ball off to Matt Asiata to the left side. Goes the backup running back across the 45 for a gain of 2 yards. Now, coming up at halftime, Vikings Entertainment Network has had an all-access pass to follow rookies Audie Cole and Trevor Guyton as they fight for a spot on the final roster. It's the new Vikings documentary show, Beyond the Gridiron, Saturdays at noon on KARE 11. We expect to see Audie Cole later. Last time he was in this building, he scored his first 2 touchdowns since high school football and did it in a span of 13 seconds against the Bills. Second down, Ponder back to pass, swing left, caught Asiata on the run, turns up at the 40-yard line, and he's taken down at the 39-yard line for a gain of 4. Antoine Winfield, one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL, is with Ben Lieber.
That's right, PA. One of the best. Pro Bowler Antoine Winfield. Thanks for joining. You know, what's the problem, and I guess not problem, what's the game plan with the number of snaps you're getting in this preseason?
I'm loving it. You know, they're taking care of me. This is year 14 for me. So I'm going to get limited reps during the preseason, hopefully last all 16 games this year.
As this game develops, it seems like the game plan going into this game defensively was to dial up the pressure. Is that true?
Absolutely. We're going to put the pressure on our corners. We have a lot of young guys that are competing for spots, and we're just going to go out there, work hard, and see if we can come up with good games.
One of those young corners is Josh Robinson. Can you talk about his play?
I love him. Guy very fast. You already know about that. His speed, very competitive, has all the tools. He'll be a really good corner if you're around here for a long time for the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, you have a lot to teach him, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, guys, back to you.
Thanks, Ben. Now, Christian Ponder threw what from the naked eye looked to be an interception by a Chargers defensive back, DeAndre Presley from Appalachian State. The replacement officials ruled it incomplete. Norv Turner is challenging. Norv is 1 of 1 this evening.
Now he's about to be 2 of 2.
About to be 2 of 2. And Christian, you know what? Eyeballed
Well, you know, Paul,
Percy Harvin.
He did, but I think the problem is just the miscommunication with the wide receivers in the checks. As good as the play before it was, with Ponder stepping up to the line, recognizing the blitz by the linebacker, knowing he had one-on-one on the outside, giving Percy the go call, throwing the ball deep, reception worked very, very well. The very next play, they have a miscommunication up front, and the wide receivers were not running the right route. Something went wrong. Ponder expected somebody to be there, and they weren't. So an interception by Ponder is really a timing. It was really a timing issue and a mental issue.
You see, but this is the first bit of duress Christian has faced this preseason. He was good, not great at San Francisco, led the team on 2 scoring drives. He was fantastic last week against Buffalo, despite being sacked a couple of times. Whatever San Diego's 3-4 defense is throwing at him now, he's a bit confused, because that's the first time we've seen him eyeball a receiver all preseason and literally throw it right to a defender.
Yeah, you know, you're right about that, Paul. And you mentioned this 3-4 scheme, and it caused havoc in our run game early. Our offensive line just wasn't adapting. We couldn't run the ball. Gave us a lot of 3rd and longs early in the game, and it wasn't until later when we ran some traps, some misdirections, you know, getting the cutback lanes going, and the Toby Gerhardt getting ahead of steam, that we finally got moving. And let's not forget, Paul, we're not. This isn't Air Coryell. This isn't this is not a pass-happy club.
Yeah.
This club depends on the running game, right, to set up the passing game. And when you don't have, you're not efficient in the run, you're not moving the chains in the run, it's going to make it a lot more difficult. And you know, for Ponder, he has another quarter and a half to get it straightened out.
You know who I think he misses this evening is Jerome Simpson. You know, they're not playing Jerome Simpson this evening because he's going to miss the first 3 games of the season. Now, Jerome was fantastic last week, and for those who watched the Vikings during organized team activities and minicamp, the former Bengal became a favorite target of Christian's immediately. But there's no real sense in going full throttle on Jerome this evening when he's going to miss the games against Jacksonville, Indianapolis, and the 49ers to return week 4 at Ford Field. I wonder if that's bugging Christian a little bit, because Jerome's important.
Well, that's the question, Paul. And on a mental standpoint, you know, if Jerome was in there, would he have recognized it? Would there have been a check or a change? And so, just like you said, Paul, kind of a hitch in the giddy up in the rhythm of this offense, and it's showing.
The Vikings $10,000 academic scholarship is back. Open to all incoming freshmen applying to the University of North Dakota. Apply now for this $10,000 scholarship opportunity at Vikings.com/UND. We'll see if the Chargers go +2 in the take-give.
After further review, the San Diego player caught the ball. It's an interception.
Yep.
Call is reversed. First down, San Diego at the 39 and 1/2 yard line.
Well, Leslie Frazier looks frustrated right now. It's only a preseason game, but it's a home game. The Vikings looked very good last week against Buffalo. This is the game the starters will play into the 3rd quarter. Do you think, Pete, being a former coach and player, if the team performs sluggishly in this game, that he would play them longer in the 3rd quarter than maybe previously planned?
I think he's going to have to do something. I mean, somebody's going to have to sit the offense down on the side and just get into them, get after them, wake them up. Phil Lodeholm on that last play came off the field, you know, gimpy. I mean, these guys are just not in that rhythm, Paul, and that's all it takes, is that little bit of a relaxation. When they hear 18 San Diego Chargers aren't playing, they took a little bit of a breath. They took a little bit of a mental break, and it's showing on the field.
Charlie Whitehurst, 6 of 13, 67 yards under center, goes back to pass, pumps, looks right, flag on the play, runs right into Fred Evans, and is taken down after a 2-yard run. Christian Ballard also in the game, supplanting Kevin Williams. Vikings with their 4-3 base, linebackers Aaron Henderson, Jasper Brinkley, and Chad Greenway.
Offense number 82, 5-yard penalty, replay first down.
So we'll replay first down from 1st and 15. Vikings have 4 sacks tonight, 2 by Jared Allen. The Vikings Entertainment Network has Jared wired for sound. We've played a couple of snippets earlier. I'm sure they will drop some more in during the course of the game. But if you want full access to that, remember, go to Vikings.com. Fred Evans also has a sack, as does our man in the middle, Jasper Brinkley. Josh Robinson, cornerback far left. Chris Carr in. Chad Greenway cheats to the line of scrimmage. Jackie battle the tailback. Charlie Whitehurst under center, goes play action. He pumps, looks left, fires left, incomplete. The receiver got caught up with Chris Carr. And it'll be an incomplete pass, bringing up 2nd and 15. So here is the Frontier Communications trivia question. Only 3 NFL players have recorded 22 or more sacks in a single season. Name them. We nailed Jared. We nailed Strahan. Mark Gastineau, one of my guesses, was actually right. Thanks to our statistician, David Koob.
One of the best.
I cheated.
One of the best rip moves of all time.
2nd down for the Chargers. Handoff goes to Battle, goes to the left side, tackled about 4 yards after getting the ball. It'll be 3rd and long. Vikings trivia provided by Frontier Communications, your local provider for high-speed internet, digital phone, and TV, as well as data security and identity protection. Jared Allen and Kevin Williams check back into the game.
Yeah, Paul, I'm glad you brought that up, because we're seeing some of what we had heard about with the platooning of linemen. And now 3rd and long, they took Jared and Kevin out when it was 2nd and long. Now Jared and Kevin both have a fresh opportunity with Everson Griffin up the middle to get after Whitehurst.
Nickel defense, Zach Bowman and Chris Carr are the corners. 3rd and long, Whitehurst shotgun. Takes a high snap, dumps right, caught Jacob Hester in front of his bench, sprints by the 40, and is tackled at the 44-yard line. It's a gain of 6, well shy of the 1st down. So, off the Christian Ponder interception, unlike the Lex Hilliard fumble, the San Diego Chargers are forced to punt. The Vikings are -2 in the take-give. Outside of the score, the most important stat in the National Football League, the takeaway giveaway, we're -2 this evening. Teams that are -2 generally win about 5% of the time. We're only trailing 6-0.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is a majority of the Vikings turnovers on defense have been late in games with the 2nd and 3rd teams being out there.
Here's the punt. Rookie Jarius Wright lets it bounce over his head inside the 5, and he's absolutely buried. A careless, needless, undisciplined play by rookie Melvin Ingram, the 18th overall selection in the most recent draft from South Carolina. Did Jarius sell him on that kind of like a changeup?
Yeah, he really did, and so,
geez,
well, you know, you learn as you go, and
that'll be 15
for a lot of these guys that have come, that have started, and for Melvin Ingram, who has played linebacker, probably hadn't played special teams much in college, as we get the call.
Personal foul. San Diego number 54. 15-yard penalty, 1st down. 9
penalties on the Chargers for 60 yards.
Yeah, Jarius Wright, dude, look at that. Nice job selling it. Kaboom. And you know, for Melvin Ingram, he has to realize
SEC on SEC crime.
Exactly. That you just learn to find the ball, know where it's a technique thing with special teams. Like I said, a lot of these first-round, high-round draft picks haven't played a lot of special teams in college, so if they're not starting, they're playing them now. And there's a learning curve, and we saw that right there.
It's the preseason, so no blanket statements on Christian Ponder, but it will be very interesting to see how he responds from his first interception of the preseason. He has a passer rating this evening of 39.2. For Christian into the game, his passer rating was 111.2. He threw the ball right to a member of the Chargers. The Vikings defense thwarted any offensive effort Charlie Whitehurst and the Chargers had. Vikings trail 6-0, 6:56 to go in the first half. Lex Hilliard back into the game as the tailback. Toby Gerhardt's evening is done. Percy Harvin flexes out to the left. Ponders under center. He hands it off to Hilliard. Looks for room up the middle. Busts out to the right. To the 40, and Lex Hilliard dives to the 46-yard line, but don't get too excited. Flag on the play. 11-yard gain, probably holding us.
Holding.
Yep.
Offense number 63, 10-yard penalty, replay, 1st down.
So that's holding on Brandon Fusco, the starting right guard.
And you can see on Leslie Frazier's face right there, Brandon Fusco right here on the inside. I don't know about that.
I think it's a good call.
I don't know. When you get a guy inside like that, you can lock down on him, and you know. Anyway, but it's a ticky tack. It's a ticky tack call. Let's leave it at that for the offense. And you know, for Fusco, that's the kind of player he is. He's a grinder. He's going to try to, you know, get his hands on the inside, outside, try to do whatever he can. He's an effort type player, and I don't think he should have been called on that.
Tight end Alan Reisner, and he's wide left. Ponder shotgun, pumps, fires, caught. Reisner at the 30, taken down at the 32. A gain of 6 on 1st and 20, making it 2nd and 14. Paul Allen, Pete Bursich, Ben Lieber, and Greg Coleman on the sidelines. Welcome to Mall of America Field, where the Minnesota Vikings are playing the San Diego Chargers in the 3rd preseason game. San Diego, thanks to field goals by Nate Kading and Nick Novak, lead the Vikings 6-0. Christian Ponder so far 6 of 11, 78 yards and an interception. 2 receivers right, 1 left on 2nd down. Offset eye left behind Christian Ponder. Kyle Rudolph motions to the right of Christian. He goes play action. Rudolph picks up the blitz. Ponder steps up and he is sacked. Back at the 26-yard line. 4th time Christian has been sacked this preseason. 2nd tonight, loss of 5.
And Paul, on this sack, I have to put it on Christian Ponder. You cannot expect a tight end to hold up and block an outside linebacker or a defensive end for very long. Ponder had the time, nothing was there.
Yep.
He has to get rid of that football. So that was a sack on coverage. No one was open, so he's smart, didn't throw the ball, but right there at the end, you got to just get rid of it.
Jarrett Johnson, the former Raven, 10th year from Alabama, with the sack. So it's 3rd and 19 for the Vikings. Ponder out of the shotgun, 2 receivers left and right. Chargers rush 4. Christian sets up a screen to the left, incomplete. Overthrew Matt Asiata, covered up beautifully by the defensive tackle, and the Vikings offense is forced to punt again. The Vikings offense, as we mentioned early in the simulcast, through the first 5 possessions with the first team, 2 against San Francisco, 3 against Buffalo, they scored 4 times, 3 field goals and 1 touchdown and 1 missed field goal. That certainly has not been the case this evening, Pete.
Well, I would love to be a fly on the wall at halftime, boys, because there's going to be, there's going to be some chewing out going on, and they need to pick this thing up.
Low snap to Kluwe. He pulls it in. Roscoe Parrish floats to the left. The longtime Bill takes it on the run at the 20. Jukes to the right, back to the left. And he's taken down at the 23-yard line after a 53-yard punt by Chris Kluwe. Jared Allen, thanks to the Vikings Entertainment Network, is wired for sound this evening.
Thank you. Your boy 79 is struggling over here. We got I don't even know what the holding penalty is. Signal is. We'll go that way though.
That's a rookie from UCLA having to fill in for injured left tackle Jared Gaither, and he's right. 79 is struggling a bit tonight, but you know what? Jared's the best pass rushing right defensive end in the NFL. He's done that to a lot of people. Handoff goes to the tailback Edwin Baker, a rookie from Michigan State. He sprints to the left for a gain of 2. That'll make it 2nd and 8 with about 5:04 to go in the first half. San Diego leads 6-0.
Paul, having spent a lot of time with John Randall as a teammate, John was one of the masters of what he would call non-physical battle or non-physical confrontation, and getting in playbooks and learning the wives of names of players and all kinds of crazy stuff just to get in their heads and get in their kitchen. And so for the preseason, it was a nice preseason attempt by Jared Allen to get into a guy's head.
2nd and 9, handoff. Jackie Battle runs up the middle, bounces off a Viking, then is finished off at the 26-yard line by Chad Greenway, a gain of 1 or 2. You wanted a nice performance this evening from Jasper Brinkley. He forced a sack that went to Jared Allen, and he closed on his own sack. So Jasper's having a pretty good evening, isn't he?
Yeah, he has. And earlier on, San Diego tried to run a little trap up the middle, and the only way to beat a trap is to have a middle linebacker read it and get upfield and break it up, and he did that. So I'm pretty pleased with Jasper and what he's done. Trending in the right direction, that's huge. And for Jasper, having lost all last season, I think he's starting to get in the groove.
Charlie Whitehurst out of the shotgun on 3rd down, back to pass. Ball bounces off the receiver into the air, and it's incomplete. Harrison Smith comes closing in to finish the play, and the Chargers will punt.
Yeah, and man-to-man across the board, Harrison Smith kind of playing the center field role as the linebackers hug up. And for Harrison, you want your safeties to come in and light people up when they can. But again, the number one thing is to get that ball. And when that ball pops in the air, you can't be focused in on trying to light somebody up. he might have had a chance to pick that one off.
Here's the punt. Jarius Wright, the rookie from Arkansas, lets it bounce out of bounds at the 35-yard line. A 39-yard punt by backup punter Robert Malone in his second year from Fresno State. Harrison Smith, the rookie from Notre Dame, getting his second start this evening. Debuted last week against the Buffalo Bills. How do you think Harrison's getting along this evening?
No, he's doing well. Again, you want safeties to show up, and last year with what we saw and what we went through, the door's wide open for Harrison to come in and step up and be a big player. I think we've seen him have some timing issues and some angle things down the field. And now, yeah, am I being picky? Absolutely. But to get to be a good safety in this league, to be able to be an impact player, to make those interceptions, his ability to read a pass, read a quarterback, and get a great break and angle to the ball is going to be key. So for Harrison, it's all going to come with time, but I think the kid's going to get it done.
Handoff Matt Asiata, tackled by Donald Butler after a gain of 2, 2nd and 8. Harrison Smith, part of the TRIA rookie profile. TRIA, the official team physicians of the Minnesota Vikings. Mr. L. Raymond not playing this evening. Injured himself in the pregame warmups. Jamarcus Sanford started at safety. Ponder, empty backfield. He goes out of the shotgun, movement at the line of scrimmage. The Chargers have been penalized 9 times this evening. Question is, false start or encroachment by the defensive line causing Matt Khalil, the rookie from USC, to jump. Wayne Elliott is the replacement referee, and here's the answer.
Neutral zone infraction, defense number 51. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
10 penalties on the San Diego Chargers. 3:17 to go in the first half.
As we get a chance to take a peek at Norv Turner, I think one of the things with Norv, as we see the replay of the false start, and clearly in the neutral zone, smart play by Khalil right there, just to jump off and bring him in. So Khalil's like a veteran already, but for Norv Turner, he's one of the worst head coaches in NFL history in holding a fourth quarter lead, Paul. So, if it gets down to the cutting time in the fourth quarter and we still have the lead, don't worry. We might have a chance.
Let's get some points here. Handoff Asiata, left side. On 2nd and 3, Matt Asiata trying to desperately win a spot in this roster. Maybe as the third back behind Adrian and Gerhardt. Maybe as a fullback, depending on what they do with Rhett Ellison, whether they designate him as a tight end or a fullback. Ryan D'Imperio, a fullback out of uniform this evening, gain of 2. There you take a peek at Toby Gerhardt. His evening's done tonight. He left before a majority of the first-team offense, because he's carried the ball and caught the ball a fair amount this preseason. I think they've seen enough with Toby to know he's ready for Jacksonville. Vikings 1 of 6 on 3rd down. It's 3rd and 1, approaching the 2-minute warning. Handoff, Asiata wiggles to the left, dives to the right. I think he came up short of the first down. No gain. Matt Asiata at the 44-yard line with the Chargers leading 6-0, approaching the 2-minute warning.
And unfortunately, Paul, that's just Charlie Johnson getting driven back by Corey Legit, the defensive tackle from the San Diego Chargers. So you look at these kinds of games, it's a 3rd and short, call the ball down the middle on the ground, challenge that offensive line, and we didn't answer the call.
2-minute warning. Chargers lead 6-0 on the Vikings Entertainment Network. The Vikings only have 90 yards of offense. 6-0 Chargers. Let's revisit the TRIA rookie profile. Again, it's Harrison Smith, first-round pick from the University of Notre Dame. He's a Tennessee kid where he was Mr. Football's back of the year after rushing for 1,300 yards and 19 touchdowns as a senior in high school in 2006. Began his Notre Dame career as a linebacker, finished as a safety, and also as one of the better tacklers in the history of Fighting Irish football. 4th and short, Chris Kluwe with a big punt angling to the right inside the 5. Spectacular punt by Chris Kluwe. And it's out of bounds at the 5-yard line. That's a 50-yard punt. That's a fantastic punt by Chris Kluwe. Audie Cole had a couple of interceptions last week. Both went for touchdowns. And we'll take a peek at Audie Cole here. Pete, what do you think on punt coverage?
This is where Audie Cole is going to make the team. You know, he had the couple picks, but you see him being smart, reading how he's being blocked. And it's amazing how difficult it is. You would think it'd be easy on the snap, on the punt, to just drop back and get downfield. But man, the game is so fast and these guys are so strong. Adi Cole using his hands, getting out, moving well. I think he just has a lot of football IQ, and I like that about him. He should be, if he could play linebacker, he should do great on special teams.
Edwin Baker, the rookie tailback. Charlie Whitehurst under center puts Jacob Hester in motion. 1st and 10 from the 5. Handoff. Baker stood up inside the 5-yard line. It'll be a tackle for loss. And it'll be 2nd and 12 for the San Diego Chargers. Clock ticking away in the 2nd quarter. The Vikings, I believe, will utilize one of their 3 timeouts. Excellent play by Jared Allen.
Yeah, nice play on the inside. The problem, Ladarius Green, the tight end for San Diego, he didn't block anybody, so Jared almost unblocked. Chad Greenway there to meet him. And this is when you talk about leadership, when you talk about big players, you know, the Jared Allens of the world. They're there to make big plays when you need it. And this club tonight, Paul, I know it's the preseason.
Yep.
I know it's week number 3. But this team's in need of a big play on either offense or defense. A big interception, a big turnover right here to put us in scoring position. Let the offense get in there. Boom, boom, 2 plays, score. Get some momentum at least going into halftime. Because right now, I mean, this club is looking to catch some serious words from Leslie Frazier. I know Leslie Frazier's not anywhere near like a Mike Ditka in this world, but you can tell by the frustration on his face that this better turn around quickly.
How about a Harrison Smith safety to support the trio rookie profile, 3 of the official team positions of the Minnesota Vikings. Whitehurst hands the ball off to the tailback, spurts up the middle, and gets nothing. In fact, maybe just a yard as the Vikings use their 2nd timeout of the 1st half. We have 1 left. San Diego has 2. Josh Robinson is out for the Vikings. For more, here's Ben Lieber.
Yeah, guys, the report right now is Josh got led back to the locker room for evaluations on a concussion. You can hear more from Coach Frazier after the game on Vikings.com, but right now it doesn't look like he's going to return for this game.
Thanks, Ben. Chris Cook already out with a concussion. The rookie Josh Robinson reportedly concussed. Antoine Winfield done for the evening. He's a veteran. He won't play next week against Houston. So we are down to Reggie Jones, Chris Carr, Zach Bowman, Bobby Felder, an undrafted rookie in whom they are impressed from Nicholls State.
Yeah.
He'll play significantly in the 2nd half. There you take a peek at Antoine Winfield, one of the better tackling corners in the NFL. Ben Lieber chatted with him earlier. Be sweet to keep Antoine in the mix for all 16 this year. Zach Bowman corner left, Reggie Jones corner right, tailback Jacob Hester. 1:41 to go in the 1st half, 6-0 San Diego. Handoff goes to Hester, he dives up the middle, and he is hit and stopped. Aaron Henderson, 4th year from Maryland, playing on a 1-year deal. Caught Hester after a gain of 2. Vikings use their final timeout, 1:36 to go in the 1st half. And the Chargers will be punting from deep in the end zone.
Nice read inside. Aaron Henderson seeing the guard pulling, coming back in. Just got to wrap up a little better. Not let the running back fall forward. But like we've seen the linebacking crew show up a little bit today, Paul. We've seen Aaron Henderson. We've seen Jasper Brinkley and Chad Greenway. So that group that we had challenged before the game, maybe they hurt us. I really don't know. But they've stepped up and played well. Now, as a team, as a head coach, Leslie Frazier, you're looking at your defense going out there, stopping an offense, backing them up. Now, special teams, your job now is to get out there, get this ball for sure in Viking territory, give the offense the short field, let Ponder get out there, run a couple plays, put a touchdown up. You go in at halftime 7-6, feeling a lot better than going in losing 6-0.
Now the Chargers have their backup punter, Robert Malone, 2nd year from Fresno State, punting from the back of the end zone, and he gets it off with Jarius Wright, the rookie. A fair shot at making something happen from his own 47. There he goes to the 50, to the 40 of the Chargers, shakes a tackle at the 35, and Jarius Wright gives the Mall of America crowd reason to get up off the seats and cheer their favorite team. It's a 23-yard return by the rookie from Arkansas. 4 sacks tonight by the Minnesota Vikings, including 2 by this guy, Jared Allen.
Yeah, I broke my elbow. I hit my funny bone. Why they call your funny bone? It's not so funny.
Jared Allen with a fantastic game tonight against a backup left tackle. Here comes the Vikings offense with 90 yards so far. Ponder shotgun. He has a pick tonight. Back to pass. He fires right. It's caught by Michael Jenkins at the 20. And the veteran receiver, former first-round pick by the Falcons, blasted out of bounds at the 15. It's a gain of 13. 1st and 10 Vikings. 1:20 to go in the first half. We trail by 6.
And this is just a timing route, a bit of a momentum builder, and Michael Jenkins doing a nice job getting the reception and coming back to the ball, but turning quickly and getting upfield. So Michael Jenkins adding a couple more yards to the end of it. This is the rhythm I'm talking about, Paul. They've got to get positive yards on the next few plays and punch this one into the end zone.
Inside the red zone, this is supposed to be Kyle Rudolph territory. Ponder back to pass, throws left, incomplete, flag on the play. Devin Aroma should do the intended receiver. Flag came in. That would be an unfortunate pass interference call against San Diego because I think that ball was thrown behind Devin Aroma should do.
I think it is going to go against San Diego, and
they might pick this flag up.
Devin Aroma has just had a rough preseason as far as guys pushing him out of bounds, flags not being called, and he always seems to be in the center of some kind of a pile.
Pass interference. Defense number 39. Spot foul. First down.
That will take it.
12 penalties against the San Diego Chargers, leading 6-0 with 1:16 to go in the first half. A couple of field goals for the San Diego Chargers, one by Nate Kading and the other by Nick Novak. So here we go from the 10-yard line. I'll say it again. This is supposed to be Kyle Rudolph territory. Rudolph will set up as the tight end right. 3 receivers right, Aroma Shadu to the left. Christian Ponder out of the shotgun on 1st and goal from the 10. Back to pass, looks the way of Rudolph, sees nothing, and is sacked at the 16-yard line. Vikings have no timeouts remaining this half. So Kyle Christian hustles everybody to the line of scrimmage. Lex Hilliard to the left of the second-year guy from Florida State. He takes the snap on 2nd down. Big rush, fade, left, end zone, back left, incomplete. The intended receiver was Percy Harvin. Christian threw into double coverage but threw over it. And the former Gator could not bring it in. 53 seconds to go in the first half. And it is 3rd and goal from the 16.
Yeah, and Ponder smartly getting back up after he's being sacked to get up and make a play. Now the ball delivered a little bit late. We saw that crease when he was open. Harvin was open enough when he broke it outside. Now whether or not that route should have gone deeper to the back corner pylon, I don't know. But again, there's that little bit of offness to the quarterback and receiver.
3rd and goal from the 16. Christian out of the shotgun, steps up, runs 15, dives ahead to the 10, and that's where he's tackled after a run of 5. So the Vikings could not get into the end zone on by far their most significant penetration of the evening. Blair Walsh 0 of 1 this evening, 7 of 9 this preseason. There should be a chip shot for the rookie from Georgia. It'll be a field goal try. About 29 yards, right hash. Blair Walsh's miss earlier this game from 45 yards. He missed it left going this direction. First play of the second quarter. Play stopped.
Are they icing a kicker in preseason? Really?
Timeout. San Diego.
Wow.
It's their 2nd timeout.
You remember
30-second timeout.
You remember when you were linebackers coach for the Vikings and you were playing the 4th preseason game at Dallas, Old Texas Stadium, and Bill Parcells sent Mike Vanderjagt out to kick. The Cowboys came within 1 point with like 10 seconds to go in the game. So Bill Parcells has the option. I'm either going to go for a 2-point conversion and end preseason victorious or losing, or in the 4th preseason game, I'm going to kick the extra point with Vanderjagt and force overtime. In the 4th preseason game, he forced overtime, and I think Bobby Carpenter, one of his linebackers, got hurt in overtime.
Yeah, and you hear about those stories all the time, and there's been a lot of changes, Paul, in the CBA and everything else, and that may be one thing that should have been eliminated that wasn't, and that's overtime in the preseason.
Minnesota Vikings president Mark Wilf will join us in the booth in quarter 3. Here's the 29-yard try, right hash, snap spot. Blair Walsh's kick is good. And that is Blair's 8th make this preseason. He is now 8 of 10, and the Vikings have scored. 6-3 San Diego, 8 seconds to go in the first half. By the way, get your 2012 Vikings yearbook. Hey, get your yearbook complete with an exclusive story on All-Pro Jared Allen with a couple of sacks and a tackle for loss tonight. In-depth team analysis and more. Vikings yearbook available now at Vikings.com. A little bit of a lackluster effort this evening by the Vikings. Now, offensively, going against San Diego's defense, you've talked about it all night. I mean, with Abreu, Franklin, and some of the other players like Sean Phillips, they do have a pretty nice defense. It's defensively, the Vikings have done damage against the makeshift San Diego Chargers offensive line, so therefore you can't really knock what the Vikings defense has done with all those sacks and everything, leading to just a couple of field goals for San Diego. I guess what would disappoint me most is how the Vikings just have not been as rhythmically sound offensively as they were even at San Francisco, and the 49ers defense is better than San Diego.
Yeah, and you're right. And the whole thing here, Paul, is they're playing poorly. They're not doing what they need to be doing, but it's the turnovers that have led to San Diego points.
That's Blair Walsh's first kickoff of the evening, and per usual, it's 9 yards deep in the end zone, and the San Diego Chargers will come out and start at the 20-yard line. Blair has been absolutely spectacular this preseason, kicking that ball in the back of the end zone, whether it's into the 15-mile-per-hour wind we saw 2 weeks ago at Candlestick Park against the Niners, or in the last two at home. That's definitely one thing with the rookie that will assist the Vikings defense this year. There will be so many drives started at the 20-yard line by the adversary. That's bound to help the defense, isn't it?
It really is, and it's getting to the point now with guys like Blair Walsh and some of these other kickers that special teams coaches are really concerned that the kick return is going to go the way of the dodo bird.
Charlie Whitehurst takes a knee, and the San Diego Chargers go to halftime, leading the Vikings 6-3. Chargers get the ball to begin the second half. We'll have the action for you shortly on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Chargers lead the Vikings by 3.
And Paul, if I'm Leslie Frazier and I'm walking into that locker room at halftime, I'm calling everybody up into the middle, and I'm looking at guys like Jared Allen, Antoine Winfield, and I'm telling them, if I don't see something else in this third quarter, you guys are going to play to the third quarter next Thursday.
Chargers get the ball to begin the second half. Let's go to Greg Coleman with head coach Leslie Frazier.
Greg Coleman back at Mall of America Field. Greg Coleman Chargers over 6-3. Lack of rhythm, sluggish, turnovers, got to be cause for concern.
I don't want to say cause for concern. We still are in the preseason. There are some things we got to do a lot better. It's the first half of the game. We want to come out this second half, Greg, and play a lot better on offense, being able to finish this drive, and then on defense, continue to come up with stops. But we got to do a better job on third down to keep drives going from an offensive standpoint and not affect ourselves with costly penalties. So we've got to continue to grow as a football team.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
You're welcome.
That's head coach Leslie Frazier with the Chargers over the Vikings 6-3 at Mall of America Field. Paul, back to you and Pete.
Thanks, Greg. Good work. Blair Walsh set to kick it off. His last kick went about 8 yards deep in the end zone. And the San Diego Chargers will begin the second half on an evening. They are not playing with quarterback Phillip Rivers, tight end Antonio Gates, and running back Ryan Matthews, yet lead the Vikings 6-3. The Vikings were -2 in the take-give in the first half. Charlie Whitehurst, the backup, only a 57.3 passer rating. So the Vikings defense, with 4 sacks, 2 by Jared Allen, 1 by Jasper Brinkley, and the other by Fred Evans, has kind of dominated at times the backup offensive line for the San Diego Chargers. It's just offensively, the Vikings have not been able to score on San Diego's defense. Here is the kick to begin the second half, and excellent kick coverage by Tyrone McKenzie. Big plays like that after a 20-yard return will help Tyrone McKenzie make this squad. He's the immediate backup right now to Jasper Brinkley, and Tyrone is battling the likes of Audie Cole for a spot in the Vikings 53, which will be established after the final preseason game next Thursday against the Houston Texans. 6-3 San Diego, and the Chargers begin from their own 17-yard line. Minnesota Vikings team president Mark Wilf, now nice enough to join us in the booth to watch his Minnesota Vikings try to turn the tide in the second half, where a majority of the starters stay in, including Jared Allen with a couple of sacks. And Charlie Whitehurst hands the ball off to Baker. The rookie gets by Jared Allen to the left side, but is finished off at the line of scrimmage by Harrison Smith, and that'll be no game. Mark Wilf, team president for the Minnesota Vikings, joins us now. Pete Bursich and Paul Allen, along with Ben Lieber and Greg Coleman on the sidelines. The Chargers lead 6-3. First of all, congratulations on having a relatively distraction-free offseason. I mean, I would imagine as long as you and Ziggy have owned the team, this walk up to the regular season has been as comfortable as you've ever had. You have the stadium situation solved. You know who your quarterback is. You got your head coaching situation solved. Rick Spielman's the general manager. Do you see it that way, Mark?
Well, we're excited about our offseason, and we're especially excited about the season coming up here.
Pete?
Now, congratulations again on the stadium. One of the things that I'm interested in and things that I've heard and people talk about is that the Vikings are building the stadium, but it's a partnership with the Minneapolis Sports Facilities Commission. And so a lot of the decisions have to be made not just by you, but is it kind of a team effort. And how is that going so far? And what is that like to maybe not have final say on everything that you'd like to have?
Well, it's going to be a great partnership with the state and the city and the government, and we're working hard together. We're hopefully going to have an architect selected next month, and a lot of things are coming together on our construction team, and we're excited about a project ahead.
What do you think of the team this evening?
Well, I mean, it's been there's been some good things this first half. A lot of good things. I mean, some things to work on. We're growing. We're a young team. Yeah. It's coming together. A lot of good things that we can work on, and we're excited about the season. We're excited about the opener in 2 weeks.
Defensively, 4 sacks. That definitely would make a team president happy, correct?
Absolutely, and the stop down at in the last 2 minutes was real solid.
Vikings team president Mark Wilf joins us via the simulcast. Chargers have the ball. They just got a first down, offset eye right behind Charlie Whitehurst. And on 1st and 10 from his own 31, he hands the ball off to Baker, the rookie from Michigan State. He eludes Fred Evans and is caught at the line of scrimmage by Chad Greenway. Back to the stadium and some of the new developments with the stadium. The most popular and prevalent question that you receive regarding the new stadium in 2016, retractable roof and the viability of that. Any update?
No exact answer on that yet, but as we work through with the government officials and we get through this, we're going to definitely have a retractable feature in the stadium. We're going to make it a first-class facility, which is fan-friendly, and we're going to make it as first-class as any stadium in the country.
Whitehurst out of the shotgun on 2nd and 11. Deep drop, eludes Brian Robinson, but is sacked for a 5th time this evening. 2nd sack by Jasper Brinkley, Pete. That's big.
All right, and for Jasper, we went into this game saying that these linebackers on the inside, some of the younger guys that you referred to, have to step up and make some plays. And so right now for the folks at home, we're gonna get a chance to see some of the renderings of the stadium. And you look at the map, the stadium's going to be turned. I mean, will fans come down here in 4 years and just be amazed at the difference? We see the plaza, we see beautiful. The expansion. It's going to be, this whole area is going to be revamped, is it not?
Yes, it certainly will be, and the plaza is going to be really exciting for the fans, too.
3rd and 17, Whitehurst back to pass, zips it to the left, and it's incomplete. The intended receiver for Charlie Whitehurst was Roscoe Parrish. Spent 7 years with the Buffalo Bills, his first year with San Diego. Chris Carr in the coverage, and the Vikings force a punt on San Diego's initial drive of the second half, trailing 6-3. The starters for the Vikings defensively, save Antoine Winfield, began the second half. We expect the same from the offense with a Christian Ponder. And here's the punt to rookie Jarius Wright, who backpedals to the 20-yard line, left hash. And Jarius stutter steps to the right, plays strung out, and he's taken down at the 25-yard line. Stick around for another drive, Mr. Wilf.
Absolutely.
Mark Wilf, Vikings team president, with us. His team has the ball, but trailing by 3. This is Vikings football. Mall of America Field, Vikings first offense still in. Minnesota Vikings team president Mark Wilf joins Pete Bursich and yours truly, Paul Allen, in the booth. The team trails 6-3. Christian Ponder at the helm is 8 of 15 for 97 yards, sacked 3 times. And he'll lead the team to the line of scrimmage. We'll chat more about the Vikings with the team president momentarily. I formation behind Christian Ponder, Percy Harvin, the wide receiver left, Michael Jenkins right, Kyle Rudolph in motion. And on 1st and 10 from the 25, handoff, Matt Asiata, and he spurts up the middle, bounces off a Charger at the 39, and Matt Asiata, after a 14-yard gain, provides a spark to the Vikings offense. Rick Spielman is the general manager of the team. First time we've had a general manager for the Minnesota Vikings in quite some time. How is the relationship between Rick and Leslie Frazier, the head coach, working out?
It's worked extremely well. We know this is a structure that works in the NFL, and it's something we want to implement at the start of the offseason, and it's worked out excellent.
Ponder under center, 1st and 10 from his own 40, trailing by 3. Christian back to pass, looks right, sees nothing. Now he sprints up the middle, eludes a tackle at the 40, and Christian Ponder dives ahead to the 46-yard line. It's a run of 6.
And Mark, with all these stadiums that we're seeing in the league, I think next week we're going to visit one of my favorites, which is Reliant down in Houston. And when you pull up, you see the old Houston Astrodome that used to be considered one of the wonders of the world, and Reliant absolutely dwarfs it. Give us examples of some of the things that you've seen at visiting stadiums that you really enjoy and would like to bring here to Minnesota.
Well, you take Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, for instance. You have a great experience for fans, lots of club areas, lots of large concourses, people where they can come with their families and spend a whole day at the stadium and make it a great experience. So that's one. In Seattle has another great feel too. So
now Seattle doesn't have a roof on it now.
No, it doesn't. But
but it's loud.
It's loud.
It is loud.
And our fans are the best in terms of loud and a home field advantage. So we're going to keep that.
Matt Asiata ran the Vikings to another first down. Matt Asiata beginning the second half as the tailback in his first full year from Utah. Santa Ana native. He grew up about an hour and a half north of San Diego. And Asiata gets the carry again, runs into Chargers territory to the 46-yard line, gain of 4. 2nd and 6, 9:39 and counting to go in quarter number 3. San Diego leads 6-3.
I just stick on the stadium. Is your and your brother's, is your booth going to be as big as Jerry Jones's in Texas? Is it going to be like that? Is it going to look like a hotel lobby?
I love being here. You have a better view than we do over here. So.
Ponders under center, puts Percy Harvin in motion to his left. Offset eye left on 2nd and 6. And Ponder rolls out to the right, keeps the eyes down the field, makes a man miss, face mask, back at the 45-yard line. That'll be a free first down for the Vikings. Christian stopped, tried to make the man miss, and the defender clearly either grabbed his face mask or slapped him on the head. So trailing 6-3, this should go the way of the Vikings.
Personal foul. Defense number 54. Unnecessary roughness. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Mark, as team president, you watch a lot of the practices, the camps, and obviously all the games. What do you think of the improvement of Christian Ponder so far? What sticks out to you most from what you saw last year?
Well, he's really in this offseason, just having that time with the entire team. He's really taken on a leadership role. Just the way he acts and walks around the building. He's taking control of this offense, and he's one of the leaders on our team. And seeing all these young guys out here is very exciting.
Let's get some points here. A couple of receivers right, I formation behind Christian. He hands it off to Lex Hilliard to the right side, gets through the point of attack, drives Chargers past the 35, and Lex Hilliard's taken down at the 34-yard line. That'll be a gain of 5 yards by Hilliard, and it'll make it 2nd and 5 as Devin Aromashadu and Percy Harvin check in. Along with Patrick Brown. Pete, the Vikings are going to go unbalanced again. The extra tackle Pat Brown is in. When they put that extra offensive lineman in, what are they looking to accomplish?
Now you're looking to get more off tackle, because instead of a tight end blocking down on a defensive end, you have another big body over there. So double teams at the point, those kinds of things really help when you have that extra lineman in.
The extra offensive lineman Patrick Brown to the right of Phil Lodehold as Ponder takes the snap. He goes back to pass, loops it left, caught Kyle Rudolph at the 20, bounces off a Charger at the 17, and he's taken down at the 16. It's 1st and 10, Vikings trailing 6-3. 8:11 to go in quarter number 3. We may be in business, Pete.
Yeah, we might be, and this is the kind of drive that you wanted to see from our offense coming out in the second half. And Mark, I know you and your family have been humongous football fans since you can remember. And now you're kind of living every fan's dream and having an active role in ownership. What's your favorite part of the game now?
Well, I mean, just the game day. I mean, when we're opening at home for the first time in several years in a couple weeks, and can't wait for the season to get underway. And I hope our fans will be out here in full force, and just seeing this young team coming together and some great talent like Kyle and Christian just there. It's exciting to see.
Ponder back to pass, flustered and sacked back at the 23-yard line. 4th time he's been sacked this evening. That was Jacques Césaire in his 10th year from Southern Connecticut State. So the Vikings are back up a little bit, making it 2nd and 17 midway through the 3rd quarter. The Chargers lead the Vikings 6-3. We are at Houston next Thursday to close the preseason. Then the roster is cut down to 53. Kevin Aromashadu runs out to the right, Stephen Burton to the left on 2nd and 17. Tightly packed eye behind the second-year quarterback from Florida State. Kyle Rudolph motions to the left of Christian Ponder on 2nd down. Christian gives it to Matt Asiata. Spurts up the middle across the 15, inside the 10 to the 5. And it's 1st and goal for the Vikings. Matt Asiata could not do a better job in the most important preseason game to win a spot on this team.
Yeah, no question. And we talked about it last week. He's a former fullback getting a chance to run a tailback, and he runs over his pads. He's over hitting people and running them over, giving a spark. And Mark, getting back to you, what did you feel like seeing Adrian Peterson warming up in pads for the first time for quite a long time here in the Metronome?
What can I say? There's only there's only 128 out there. He's special.
And he looked great. I formation behind Ponder on 1st and goal. Rudolph in motion. Christian hands it to Asiata, looking to finish what he started inside the 5. Matt Asiata may have dropped the ball. Chargers are indicating they have the ball. No indication from the replacements. The replacement refs converge. Chargers ball.
Now, for Matt Asiata, that's disappointing, and that's one of the reasons why certain guys are backups. They can get it done, but they have to hold on to the football.
Mark, thanks for joining us. Enjoy your evening.
Paul, Pete, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Mark Wilk, president of the Minnesota Vikings, kind enough to join us on the simulcast. Chargers ball after the fumble. Chargers lead by 3 on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Minus 3 in the take-give this evening, trailing by 3. 6-3 San Diego. Chargers have the ball. Tonight's health injury report is provided by Sanford Health. Today we come together to improve the human condition. Pete, it's Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, Adrian Peterson, it was great to see him warm up again today and expected to play week 1 versus Jacksonville. The big news was we expected to see him a little bit tonight, but the medical staff and the coaching staff told Adrian and looked at Adrian and said, hey, we want you to hold out, wait a couple more weeks and just get better. And like I said, I talked to Adrian coming into the game, and he was fine with it. He accepted it. He understood the setback, has to go out, rehab continues, get better, get his feet under him, because obviously the coaching staff saw something in his step or something that maybe spooked him a little bit, and they want his first snaps to be live against Jacksonville.
Charlie Whitehurst still in at quarterback for the Chargers. Edwin Baker, the tailback, in the eye. So check that. Charlie Whitehurst is out of the game. In the game now is Jared Lee, a rookie quarterback from Louisiana State. And after that run, it's 3rd and 7 with 5.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. What's your read on this preseason game from a Vikings perspective? We have 5 sacks this evening, 2 by Jasper Brinkley, which really is the topic tonight. But we've turned the ball over 3 times and have been a little too sloppy for my liking offensively.
Right, I agree. And Paul, I think what we're finding out today is that this club is not talented enough to come out on a play against anybody flat, because we were flat at the beginning of this game.
3rd and 7. Here's Lee, the rookie, back to pass, fade left, swatted away. Flag on the play. They're going to catch a Viking for pass interference. It's going to be Reggie Jones. Reggie Jones, a first-year guy from Portland State, singled up. Looked like he did a good job with Michael Spurlock.
Pass interference.
PI.
Defense number 29. Spot foul. Automatic. First down.
Bunch of Vikings backups in defensively now, including Andrew Sendejo at safety. Take a peek at Reggie Jones here in single coverage. What do you think?
Yeah, it doesn't look like
that's a bad call.
Yeah, I mean that's
call.
Definitely a little hand fighting. That's what they allow them to do in the NFL. And again, the officials are they're new. They're learning their way, and to make a call like that and to miss the fumble and the interception earlier, it's the referee standing right on San Diego's sideline. So I think someone talked him into that one.
Jacob Hester in motion behind the rookie Jared Lee, who goes on play action. He's back to pass, pressured by Christian Ballard, dumps it right, incomplete. DeAndre Reed covering via the zone blitz. Christian Ballard, 2nd year from Iowa. Big opportunity for Christian Ballard on that defensive line, because Alan Williams, the coordinator, and Leslie Frazier, they want to rotate a bunch of defensive linemen. We haven't heard much from Christian Ballard this preseason, and he was rather nondescript last year. Be nice for Christian to jump up and play well this year.
Yeah, and we got to keep in mind that in football terms, Christian's still just a baby. You look at his frame and his size. you know, he's going to be able to put on another 20 pounds here, and then there's some potential there with that kid.
2nd and 10. Whitehurst fires left, caught on a slant for a San Diego Chargers first down into Vikings territory. And that is Michael Spurlock on a 13-yard hit. Chargers lead 6-3. Vikings were on the doorstep of taking the lead. Matt Asiata with some very nice runs to get the Vikings inside the 5, but he put the ball on the ground here at Mall of America Field. So 10 carries and 54 yards for Asiata, but a critical fumble inside the 5. And the Chargers with a possession that started at the 4 or at the Vikings 49. And Lee goes back to pass. He'll dump it over the middle. Incomplete. No flag on the play. He was looking for the single coverage. That was Ladarius Green, a 4th-round rookie from Louisiana Lafayette. He's the intended replacement to the great Antonio Gates. Lee, the rookie from LSU, found the single coverage against Jamarcus Sanford, but the pass rush was so good he couldn't close the deal.
Yeah, he couldn't deliver an accurate pass down the field, and Jamarcus Sanford, really, he was more interfering with the receiver than we saw a play or two ago. But referees let those safeties and those tight ends battle a little bit and hand fight a little bit more.
Lee hands the ball off to Baker, spurts through the left side of the line of scrimmage, and he's tackled by Jamarcus Sanford at the 45-yard line. A gain of 4 on 2nd and 10, making it 3rd and 6 with 4 minutes and counting to go in the 3rd quarter. Chargers lead the Vikings 6-3. Paul Allen, Pete Bursich behind the Vikings bench at the 50. Ben Lieber and Greg Coleman on the sidelines. Chris Carr back into the game for the Vikings. A couple of subs come out now. The Vikings' 2nd string defense, 2nd and 3rd string defense in now, including Jamarcus Sanford and Andrew Sendejo at the safety spot. Chargers 3 of 11 on 3rd down. Sendejo has a great chance to win a spot on this active 53-man roster. So a game like tonight for Sendejo pretty big as Lee goes out of the shotgun. Ball's tipped at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. As the rookie from LSU looked to find something over the middle, the ball was tapped by DeAndre Reed. And it's 4th down, punting time for the Chargers.
And DeAndre Reed with that big frame, nice roll move up inside. And it's a good reaction when it's a smart play. And these are the things that you're looking for, development from DeAndre Reed. He's double teamed. He knows he's not going anywhere. He stops, pulls up, gets his eyes on the pass, and bats it down. So, you know, DeAndre Reed, you look at what he's done to himself physically this offseason. He looks like a totally different person than a year ago.
Brian Walter, an undrafted rookie by the Chargers in 2011. He calls for a fair catch at the 9-yard line. Chargers lead the Vikings 6-3, 3:20 to go in quarter number 3. This is Vikings football. Joe Webb is in at quarterback. San Diego leads the Vikings 6-3. Joe Webb will be under center as we take a peek at the Vikings' upcoming schedule. Pete, provided by Arby's.
Now, and as we all know, we start off at home against Jacksonville. And Paul, this is the thing on a younger team. You really want to establish winning ways at home. We were 1-7 at home last year.
Yep.
And early on, Jacksonville, we'll go at Indy. Andrew Luck is improving every single week. Then we play a legit team in San Francisco. So 2 out of the 3 first games are at home. And they have to have more intensity than they bring tonight if they want to have any success, even against the Jacksonville team.
Joe Webb hands it off to Derek Coleman. Backup running back runs up the middle for 2. Here's the second half of the schedule provided by Arby's. Begin at Seattle, winnable. Detroit at home, winnable. At Chicago, that's been difficult over the years. At Lambeau Field, December 2nd. Now see, this is the part of the schedule where it gets real meaty. At Chicago, at Green Bay, Bears here, at St. Louis, then at Houston. Texans are one of the best teams in the NFL. We'll see them Thursday via the simulcast, and you close at home at Mall of America Field against the Green Bay Packers. Joe Webb with a passer rating of 52 in the preseason. He goes back to pass, slings it left, caught Devin Aromashadu at the 20, and Devin Aromashadu spins ahead to the 23. That's a gain of 11 and a Vikings first down. Devin Aromashadu makes this team, correct?
Yeah, I really think so. And for Devin, he's had a pretty rough preseason, and by that I mean deep balls, penalties that should be called. He's been roughed up, and even on a simple hitch route, he in the corner bumping up. It's funny to see Devin battling like he is, but he's an experienced veteran wide receiver. Without Jerome Early, you may need a guy like that in the mix.
Joe Webb hands it to Derek Coleman, runs to the right side, might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage or lost one as we run down to the sidelines. Ben Lieber is with Aaron Henderson.
That's right, guys. With Aaron Henderson here, a key cog in the wheel tonight. You guys start off a little slow tonight defensively, a little lack of emotion. Was there a certain play or anything said on the sidelines that really get you guys going?
I think it was just kind of getting settled in and getting an idea of what they were going to be doing. When you come into these preseason games, you never really know what an offense is going to want to work on or what their goal is for the day. But they came out in our first 3 plays. I think it was straight, play action passes and bootlegs, and we weren't really expecting that at all. We thought they was going to try to come downhill on us a little bit. So they had us on our heels, at first, and we got adjusted to what they were doing and what they had going on, and then we kind of set in and got comfortable and the boys came to play.
Well, your play specifically, your position, the nature of your position is you kind of the sacrificial lamb, we like to call it, and you give yourself up so guys can make plays. And talk about your role in this defense and you being that sacrificial lamb.
It's something I'm learning, it's something I'm learning, and I think the fans on the outside watching will never understand. I remember I used to watch the games and be like, Ben Lieber, who is that guy? What is he doing out there? And then I came here and I started playing in the system, and I understand what they're asking you to do. I understand they're asking the Will backer to kind of take on those blockers and keep guys clean as well. It's the nature of the business. We don't get a lot of the cool points, the style points. People don't really, hear our names that much when you're over there in that bubble. But we have a very, very intricate part in this defense, and if you don't play it right, it can really cost us.
Well, you're doing a heck of a job in making plays along the way. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Aaron. Bad news for the Chargers. First-round pick Melvin Ingram is down and hurt. An update and more when we return to the Vikings Entertainment Network. Boy, bad night for the San Diego Chargers. They lose outstanding cornerback Quentin Jammer to a hamstring injury in pregame warmups, and now the 18th overall pick in the draft, Melvin Ingram, had to leave the game due to injury. Welcome back, 6'3" Chargers. Joe Webb at quarterback for the Vikings. On third down, flag comes in. Joe sprints to the left, and he leaps to the first down at the 35-yard line. Flag came in from the secondary. Run of 3 by Joe on 3rd and 2. Joe averaging 18 yards per run in the preseason.
Holding. Defense number 28. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And those are the kinds of things that a mobile quarterback will do. And for the offensive linemen that are in the game right now, they have to remember that Joe is not a pocket passer, and if the defensive lineman they're blocking takes off and goes the other way, to resist the temptation to grab and hold on, because who knows where he's going to go. And it's the same thing down the field. The DB's expecting the run, but when you have someone mobile getting out of the pocket, they have a tendency to want to hold and pull and drag people down as well. So, Joe Webb, he's a bit of an enigma here in the Twin Cities. We all want to know what is he going to do, what is he not going to do. But as a changeup, he is invaluable.
On 1st and 10, the Vikings trail by 3 in the 3rd quarter. I formation behind Joe. Hands off to Derek Coleman. Spurts to the right side through the line of scrimmage at the 35. And he is tackled at the 38. Gain of 1, maybe 2, making 2nd and long, nearing the end of the 3rd quarter. Early in the 4th quarter, we'll get Pete Bursich's analysis of Christian Ponder's effort tonight. Our starting quarterback finished 9 of 16 for 115 yards. Did not throw a touchdown and threw an interception. The guy you see now, Jared Allen, had an outstanding game, capitalizing on a backup left tackle. He had a couple of sacks and a tackle for loss. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. The Chargers lead the Vikings 6-3. 4th quarter action shortly. This is Vikings football. Set to begin the 4th quarter. Jared Allen is mic'd as the players sing.
Can you just hit a tune real quick for Dan? We mic'd up for Brian Harper. Hit me a tune real quick. Yeah. I'm so happy to be right here with Jared.
That's Quentin Salisbury, a rookie from Mississippi State. If this football thing doesn't work out, maybe American Idol is next. And to begin the 4th quarter on 2nd and 9, handoff goes to the tailback up the middle, and he'll gain 5 to make it 3rd and 4.
Paul, you mentioned earlier what went well with Christian Ponder and what didn't.
115 yards, 9 of 16, and a pick.
Yeah, and looking at my notes, it's some of the nice stuff. The pre-snap adjustment resulted in a big pass to Percy Harvin, managing the clock, getting up quick in a 2-minute drill. But some of the things that he had to work on, holding the ball too long again in certain types of protections, resulting in sacks.
3rd and 4. Webb zips it right. Caught Devin Aromashadu. First down, Chargers territory at the 48. Continue.
Yeah, and no question, the one interception that he threw was a miscommunication on a pick, so resulting in a pick. So for Ponder, it's how a kid matures and grows up. You see a lot of good, but today a little bit more of the mistakes. Some of the bad kind of crept into it, and a bit concerning only because he carried a little more game plan this week. But Christian Ponder, I know he'll work to get better. You just like to see him get out there, take a little bit more of a leadership role, and recognize when his team is just a little bit flat.
Joe Webb, 3 of 3, 29 yards, play action, floats out to the right, passes right, caught Allen Reisner, hit hard at the 38-yard line. Gain of 11 and a first down. In fairness to Christian, good game at San Francisco, outstanding game against Buffalo, and in this game, definitely could have played better. But it's really unfair to completely judge Christian positively or negatively until he gets a crack to play with Adrian Peterson. And then in week 4 to have Adrian Peterson, John Carlson, Kyle Rudolph, Percy Harvin, and Jerome Simpson. When he has all of his complementary talent and his weapons, it'll be proper to analyze him. As Joe Webb, after the first down, takes the snap, 1st and 10. He whips it out to the left side, caught again by Allen Reisner. At the 27-yard line goes the undrafted kid from Iowa. And for Allen Reisner, he's in his second full year from Iowa, 6'3", 255. You understand what I'm saying about Christian?
Yeah, and to talk just a little bit about Joe Webb here with the play action, turning his back on the defense, which really isn't easy.
Yeah.
And we saw Joe a couple weeks ago in San Francisco really struggle on the timing, really struggle on getting the ball down the field, doing a much better job tonight, looking like a quarterback.
Kerry Taylor slot right, Webb out of the shotgun, back to pass, whips it out to the left, caught Devin Aromashadu at the 18-yard line, gain of 9. And that'll make it 2nd and 1. Now, granted, this is against the Chargers' 2nd and 3rd team defense.
Well, they started with their 2nd team, so we'll probably...
Yeah, right. This is the 3 and the 4, but the offense is rhythmically sound right now.
Yeah, and you know, San Diego is keeping it simple. They're playing a lot of middle close. The corners are one-on-one on the outside, and Joe's doing a nice job of the picking off on the outside, those deep out routes, those timing routes that are available when you see those kinds of coverages. So, again, Joe managing the game, taking what's given to him. He and Aromashadu have a nice little rapport going.
Hand off to Derek Coleman inside the 20. Flag on the play. He dropped the ball. The Chargers recovered it. Flag on the play. So unofficially, the Vikings are -4 in the take-give. Nobody wins when you're -4 in the take-give.
Well,
not that winning and losing is the most important thing in the preseason, but nevertheless, we have dropped the ball and thrown it away.
No foul on the play. It was fumble.
No foul on the play.
First down, San Diego.
Giving it away far too frequently.
Right, and even worse, Paul, they had insult to injury. You're doing it in the red zone or near the red zone twice, so that you're just killing yourself.
Second time, Chargers lead the Vikings 6-3, 12:06 to go in the 4th quarter from Mall of America Field on the Vikings Entertainment Network. 6-3 San Diego. Here's the beauty of preseason football. Who was the man on the microphone with Jared Allen mic'd via the Vikings Entertainment Network with the beautiful melodic voice? Which 60 was it, Pete? Was it Tydreek Powell or was it Quentin Salisbury? The beauty of preseason football, multiple numbers.
Yeah, can I phone a friend on this one? Actually, it's Powell.
That'll be next week's trivia.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It should be. I think it was Tydreek Powell. Jared Allen mic'd this. He's wired this evening, has a microphone on him. We played a lot of that during the course of the game, and you can catch all of that with the likes of Audie Cole from the first preseason game, Trevor Guyton, Jared Allen, Vikings.com. There's a peek at the replay.
Yeah, tough to see from that angle, Paul, whether or not the knee was down before the ball came loose. And so for the officials, hopefully they'll get a nice sideline view and determine whether or not the knee was down before the ball pops loose. And,
well,
you know,
we can't lose now. You know why?
Our best offensive weapons on the field.
Audie Cole, 2 touchdowns within 13 seconds. Audie, we need you. 12:06 to go in the game.
Can he do it again?
And again. Here's the answer to the challenge.
For further review, the play stands.
Yep.
Be first down, San Diego.
I know it's a preseason game. Matt Asiata dropped one. Lex Hilliard dropped one. Christian threw it right to a cornerback. And Derek Coleman, equal opportunity turnovers, by the way, won by 4 players. I don't care if it's preseason, regular season, or postseason. Nobody wins when you go -4 in the old take-give.
You know, and I have to kind of go back to the Lex Hilliard fumble when he was hit by Eric Weddle, and you know, Charlie Johnson getting pushed into his lap, and Lex wasn't expecting to get hit from the blind side. So it's not always just one guy. It's not always just the running back's fault. It's a combination of things sometimes.
Jarrett Lee, the tailback, the rookie from LSU, check that, the quarterback, and he hands it to Edwin Baker, rookie running back from Michigan State, goes to the left side, and he crosses the 20-yard line following the turnover. And one of several in on the tackle for the Minnesota Vikings, Marvin Mitchell, in his 6th year from Tennessee. Used to play for the New Orleans Saints.
Now you can tell Hal Hunter, former offensive line coach and now offensive coordinator from San Diego, is just afraid to throw the ball through the air down the field with 57 roaming the middle, Paul.
6-3 Chargers, 11.5 minutes to go in the game. We're at Houston next Thursday, 6 o'clock Central for the kickoff. Offset eye left behind Lee. On 2nd and 7, Jarrett Lee back to pass, loops it over the middle, and it's caught at the 40-yard line for a San Diego Charger first down. The ball is hauled in by Mike Willie, a rookie from Arizona State. That's a gain of 25 yards. Brandon Burton. His middle name could be Bubble because the Triple B appears to be on the bubble. And he, along with Andrew Sendejo, on the tackle there as the receiver kind of caught the cover 2 defense in between players. Harrison Smith has returned to the game. Tight end in motion to the right of Jarrett Lee, offset eye right. Handoff goes to Baker to the right side, and he jukes through the line of scrimmage, and he sprints to the 40. Shakes on Harrison Smith, who wraps him up at the 33. Harrison Smith started the game. He's the only starter still in the game now. Came out for an extended period with Sanford and Sendejo running the safety spot. Why would the rookie first rounder be back in?
Now he might be back in by necessity with some injuries on the front side and in the safety position, as we're going to see. This is what you want the safety to do, is really just make a tackle in the open field. It doesn't have to be a blow-up shot, but did a nice job coming inside out. Nice angle. Harrison Smith, we know and we expect him to be good against the run. He's shown that tonight. He's almost gotten to a couple passes, which is promising.
Corey Sperry in motion, handoff to Baker, up the middle, tackled at the 30. Let's go to Ben Lieber with our starting quarterback, Christian Ponder.
All right, thanks, guys. We got Christian here. And Christian, as we look at this game offensively, a little less production from last week. What can you tell us about this week as opposed to last week?
Yeah, I don't know what was different. I mean, it's definitely disappointing that we only came out and put 3 points on the board. It all starts when we get the ball first. We want to set the tone for the rest of the game, and not only did we go 3 and out on the first drive, but we did on the second drive as well. And turnovers and penalties, we kept shooting ourselves in the foot, and wasn't good football tonight. A good thing is it's preseason, and we still have some time to work before Jacksonville. But we wish we would have came out and played better.
It looks like you're running around a little bit more than the last couple weeks, and I know it's extensive action tonight, but what did they do differently? Did they do anything unexpected to you guys up front in the front 7?
No, they didn't do anything different. I mean, it's a different scheme than what we faced last week in a 3-4. And I got to do a better job. We talked about it. I'm sitting at the top of my drop too much. I need to keep moving forward and do a better job of taking pressure off the linemen and get rid of the ball. And tons of things that I got to work on to keep this offense in a successful position.
As we look forward to Jacksonville, you guys essentially have 2 weeks off to prepare for that game. What's the one key thing or the key things that you guys feel like you need to improve on offensively?
Well, I mean, obviously we don't want to turn the ball over. We don't want penalties. We just got to play smart football. And that just goes back to being fundamentally sound, being better on first and second down, and be smart with the ball.
All right, thanks, Christian. We look forward to that Jacksonville game.
Good job, Ben. Christian most likely will not play next week against Houston. Thursday night, 6 o'clock for the simulcast. But against Jacksonville, he definitely will be in action. Likewise for Everson Griffin, who's in the game now. Been an interesting offseason for Everson. He was a defensive end last year with 4 sacks. Came into training camp as a backup linebacker to Aaron Henderson. That experiment didn't work, so they moved him back to defensive end. He can be a key cog to this team out of USC, a 4th rounder from a few years ago. You see Everson there pushing back the left tackle. Everson is a very good athlete. There's a spot for him on this team.
Yeah, there really is. And technically, Everson there taking his hand to the face of the offensive lineman. That could have been a penalty on Everson, but he's too athletic. We know Spielman loved him when he drafted him, so Rick's going to give him some time.
Timeout on the field. The Minnesota Vikings trail the San Diego Chargers 6-3. We're in the 4th quarter from Mall of America Field on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Fans having a great time Friday night. 6-3 Chargers. Here is the Winfield draft pick breakdown. It is the 4th overall pick in the draft, Matt Khalil, the 2nd highest drafted offensive lineman in Vikings history, behind Hall of Famer and fellow USC star Ron Yeri, who in 1968 was the 1st overall pick. Matt's brother Ryan is a perennial Pro Bowl center for the Carolina Panthers. His father Frank was signed by Buffalo as a center before playing in the USFL. Matt Khalil started his first 26 games at USC at left tackle. It's an absolute treat to have Matt Khalil on the Minnesota Vikings. Chargers ball 3rd and 13. Lee back to pass, zips it right, incomplete. The draft pick breakdown was presented by Winfield, uncovering insights through data to help farmers be greater. Vikings defense forces a punt. We trail 6-3. Joe Webb's the quarterback. Christian Ponder finished 9 of 16 for 115 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception.
And Harrison Smith kind of wished he had that one back. Had a chance at an interception, which is exactly what you want to see out of that position as we're scrambling here to get some guys on and off the field. But to go back to Matt Khalil, he's smiling and he's happy now, but he has to understand in about 2 weeks his life is going to get a whole lot more difficult.
55-yard try. Nate Kading between the hash marks. Snap, spot, leg fine, distance good, kick better. Wow. The Hawkeye nailed it and kicked San Diego to a 9-3 lead with 8:40 to go in the 3rd preseason game. This is Vikings football. The Chargers go 7 plays, 46 yards. Nate Kading from 54 kicks the Chargers to a 6-point lead, and we invite you to get the brand new Nike Vikings jerseys along with all of your other merchandise needs at the Vikings Locker Room store at Mall of America or online at Vikings.com. Brian Walters deep for the Vikings, the former Charger, undrafted rookie in 2011. He will let the ball sail out of the end zone. 8:40 to go in the game. Chargers lead the Vikings 9-3. Vikings in desperate need of a touchdown here. Vikings Entertainment Network provides it after this. Trying to rally the Vikings to their first touchdown tonight. 9-3 San Diego, 8:40 to go in the game. Welcome back. NFL.com fantasy football is as legit as fantasy gets. Enjoy free live scoring and instant video highlights. Go legit. Sign up for free at NFL.com/fantasy. Joe Webb heads to the line of scrimmage with a single set. Receivers left and right, trailing 9-3. 3rd preseason game. Final one at Mall of America Field. Joe's under center. 10 on the play clock. Changes the play. Brian Walters, the former Charger, wide right. Joe goes back to pass on a 5-step drop. He'll pass to the left side. Incomplete. He overthrew Allen Rice.
Unfair, don't you think, to go against an undrafted rookie free agent left tackle? Why'd you do that to him?
Absolutely, because he allowed me to. Sacks in the preseason don't count, so unfortunately these kind of games don't count. And, I wish he was playing somewhere in the regular season that we were playing somebody, but it was still good work. I had fun out there, but I think overall I was more excited about how our run defense was tonight.
Yeah, you guys definitely stepped up. You guys started a little slow. Was there anything said or done in the huddle on the sidelines to get you guys amped up?
No, I think, we got off the field right away and we came back and we missed a couple tackles on 3rd down and had some penalties. And after you have a 15-play drive, you don't want to do that again. So you go out there with a little extra motivation to really get off the field.
Now, you were mic'd up today and some pretty hilarious stuff. But I have to ask you, I'm a little disappointed. All the years that you played, you didn't know what a holding sign was?
No, I did. So what happened was I was holding and I gave the false start thing. And so I had to call myself out on it before someone else did, but I eventually got it right. This is the holding symbol, and I'm an idiot.
Well, maybe you can brush up on your signal calling as you sit out next week's game.
Absolutely, I will be studying, relaxing, and drinking coffee on the sidelines.
All right, bud.
Ben, I'd like to have him show us what the touchdown signal is. We haven't seen it since Audie Cole scored a couple within 13 seconds. By the way, Audie Cole's on the field right now as the Vikings are set to punt, trailing 9-3. Maybe we can design some type of formation for Audie Cole to drop back here, take the Colin Loeffler snap, roll around the right side and go 30, 40, 50, 40, 30, get the Vikings into the end zone. Here's Chris Cluey's punt, another sweet punt. Chris has had a very, very nice night tonight. Fair caught at the 25-yard line. Midway through the fourth quarter, the Vikings trail the San Diego Chargers 9-3, but alas, there's hope. Audie Cole's on the field. This is Vikings football. 9-3 San Diego. Great seats are available for all Vikings home games. Get yours by visiting Vikings.com. You can begin September 9th by purchasing tickets to see the Vikings against the Jacksonville Jaguars. That is the home opener. Then we go on the road to take on the Indianapolis Colts. After that, come home to take on what, in my estimation, is one of the better teams in the National Football League, the San Francisco 49ers, led by Alex Smith, Patrick Willis, and it could mark the return of former Viking and teammate of Pete Bursage's and Ben Lieber's, Randy Moss. The Chargers lead by 6. Handoff Baker to the right side. He's taken down at the 30-yard line. Let's go back to Jared Allen for a second, just interviewed by Ben Lieber. 22 sacks last year, Pete. No player in the history of the NFL has had back-to-back seasons with at least 20 sacks. Do you think Jared can become the first?
No, I think he definitely has the ability to do that. And for Jared, I think one thing that people overlook is the amount of effort that he puts in. And so many of his sacks are just that, their effort. He is relentless. We saw that in Kansas City years ago when he came off of his suspension, that the guy just has a motor like nobody else. And he proves that in football, effort means so much. And he can go out there and just run around, make plays happen. And, you know, a lot of those sacks, yeah, some of them were late in the year, but it was the consistency as well, Paul, where I think he only went one game in the whole second half of the season that he didn't have one.
Yeah.
But, you know, double sacks, you know, 2 or 3, and to do that week in and week out, that's pretty remarkable. And, you know, just like one of the better sack masters I knew, John Randall,
yeah.
You know, both of them, unbelievable motors. And just relentless to the quarterback.
You know, one of the many things to appreciate about Jared Allen is the work he does when the other team is vulnerable. If he's going against a star left tackle, you're going to get an outstanding effort, and you're probably going to get a sack. But if on an evening like this, as Jared Lee fades to the left side and the pass is caught at the 48-yard line, with Jared, I remember that Monday Night Football game with Brett Favre making his first start against the Green Bay Packers Monday night here at Mall of America Field. Alan Barber was the replacement left tackle for the Green Bay Packers. Jared, I believe, had 4 sacks. For instance, tonight, the fill-in left tackle from UCLA, he's in the game. Jared always does what he's supposed to do. If you're going against a backup, don't have one of those evenings where you look at it and you're like, well, where was Jared Allen? He dominates in situations like that.
Don't think about it too much when you have somebody outmatched. You know, the more you outmatch him, the less fancy you need to be.
Punch Brian Walter stopped at the 37.
And I think, Paul, for one thing about Jared Allen that gets overlooked is if you listen to him and as we watch him walk around on the sidelines, he doesn't come off as being a rocket scientist, but he is really a smart football player. Dropping into coverage sometimes, reading the drop of the tackles, putting his hands up when he knows it's a screen or a short pass. And throughout the years, we've seen Jared drop into coverage, do different things. He even long snap for us when we needed him to.
Yep.
He knows that as he gets older, some of those physical skills are going to erode, but he is going to more than make up for them mentally. He's a smart football player.
Sage Rosenfels, the veteran from Iowa State, 4 of 8 this preseason. He's in the game as the third quarterback, and Sage goes back to pass. Vikes trail 9-3 deep in the fourth quarter. And he dumps it right to Lex Hilliard, stopped at the 40-yard line, gain of 2. Sage Rosenfels, he is a coach in a helmet. I think that's the best way to look at it, is Sage provides so much information to Christian Ponder and is such a great conduit between the offensive coordinator and the young quarterback. I think he's a valuable asset to this team.
Yeah, he is, and unfortunately he's going to be an expensive asset if we bring him in and he remains a number 3 quarterback, Paul. But you're right, it's kind of like the situation where Joe Webb's going to get you out of a game, but if Ponder's out for an extended period of time, Sage Rosenfels is going to have to be the guy to take over.
Rosenfels play action, back to pass, dump left, caught Jordan Todman, the former Charger. He's fast. We'll talk about him momentarily after Ben Lieber interviews Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. We got Kyle Rudolph here, and Kyle, we kind of noticed during the game that you as the tight ends were much more active tonight. Was that the game plan going in?
You know, it was something that we tried to establish early. You know, as the tight ends, we want to make sure that we're making plays to help this team win, whether it's in the run game or in the pass game. And, you know, anytime our number is called, we try to execute.
Now, it sounds like we're going to get John Carlson back here either next week or the week after. How excited are you to have him back, and what can we expect out of you two?
I'm really excited. You know, early in camp we had a lot of success with both of us on the field, and you know, not only to get John back to have multiple tight ends, but you know, our offense needs a guy like John. He's a veteran guy. You know, with this young team, he's a leader that we have in that huddle.
Well, as we look across the field at Antonio Gates and his productive career, is there anybody that you idolized growing up or you watched to kind of pick up on little tips here and there?
You know, right when I started playing the tight end position as a freshman in high school, it was when, you know, Antonio Gates was starting to blow up and have huge seasons. A guy like Tony Gonzalez, who's been so consistent for, you know, going into his 16th season. You know, those are guys that I've watched throughout their career and, you know, would love to emulate their success.
Well, I hope you do too. Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. The handoff goes to Jordan Todman for the Vikings. 4:54 and counting to go in preseason game number 3. Chargers lead by 6.
You know, you wonder, Paul, why Kyle Rudolph's going to mention a Tony Gonzalez or Antonio Gates. They never mention a guy like Jim Kleinsasser.
Right.
These tight ends, they never idolize the guys that can get in there and get dirty and make some blocks. But, you know, for Rudolph tonight, flexed out quite a bit. A lot like we saw with Visante Schenkel last year. And to Visante's credit, he tried on the blocking side. He gave it a valiant effort, although he was really a big receiver in there blocking. And Kyle Rudolph made a couple really nice blocks tonight. So Kyle is a little bit more of a complete style of tight end with John Carlson in there. Yet we've yet to see him on the field. But you would hope to be able to give defenses matchup problems by having the two of them on the field. That's what the Giants used to do with Shockey. Flex them out like a wide receiver. Do you play nickel or do you play base? If you play nickel, then they just put him in the backfield and run the football. And that's the game. And I think Musgrave is tuned into that. And I have confidence that Musgrave will be able to manipulate and take advantage of that situation.
On 2nd and 5, Vikings trail by 6. 3:45 and counting to go in the game. Rosenfels goes back to pass. Dump over the middle. Caught by Manny Arsenault at the 25, and Arsenault is down to the 22-yard line. Manny Arsenault in his second year from Alcorn State. You mentioned Jim Kleinsasser. He didn't necessarily score as many touchdowns as some of the better tight ends in the history of Minnesota Vikings football. He didn't even haul in as many passes as a guy like Jermaine Wiggins, who played on the team when you coached here. Jim Kleinsasser is one of the great tight ends in the history of this organization because of his longevity, at times because of his versatility. He caught the ball a little bit, but the fact that he made all of the dances and he was so vital to the rushing attack, specifically Adrian Peterson. Pass over the middle, caught Allen Reisner at the 4, stopped at the 3. 1st and goal, Vikings trying to win deep in the 4th quarter. Don't you agree with what I'm saying about Jim?
Absolutely, and I always go back and think about the Dallas Cowboy playoff games when we see a replay of Sage Rosenfels. You know, he's just being cool. It's a, you know, preseason game, 2 minutes to go. You know, get in there and get the ball to Reisner, get the first touchdown, hopefully, of the game for our offense. But what Jimmy could do as a fullback out of the backfield as a road grader was just absolutely incredible. There was nothing like him that I had seen in the NFL.
It's 1st and goal for the Vikings. Handoff, Coleman hit at the point of attack, and he falls down at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and goal. Vikings trail 9-3, approaching the 2-minute warning. Vikings have 3 timeouts remaining. San Diego has 2. And this will take us down to the 2-minute warning, where the Vikings hopefully can get a touchdown here in the shadow of the wire and leave with preseason victory number 2. 2 minutes to go in the final preseason home game. We're at Houston next Thursday. San Diego 9, Vikings 3 on the Vikings Entertainment Network. But the Vikings are threatening. 9-3 Chargers, 2nd and goal for the Vikings from the 3-yard line, led by Sage Rosenfels. Christian Ponder starts. Joe Webb followed him. Sage Rosenfels finishes up. When we play Jacksonville, is that how the order will go?
I really think so, Paul. And
well, what about my guy?
You know, I was just thinking about that, but we still have Thursday.
(9-3) San Diego, but the Vikings are threatening. It is 2nd and goal from the 3. Christian Ponder starts. Joe Webb is the backup. Sage Rosenfels in now. Is that how the quarterback threesome will look into the Jacksonville game?
Well, we need to get one more look at, what's his name, number 4?
It's my guy, McLeod, John Baltazar, Bethel Thompson. He's getting shorted. Rosenfeld's under center, 2nd and goal. Hand off to Coleman, who barrels up the middle, bounces off a Charger, dives for the goal line, and he came up short.
Wow.
Let's put Audie Cole in as fullback. Use him as the up back. Timeout on the field.
It looks like the Chargers are taking a timeout, but nice job up inside, and this is what you do.
It's a nice hit.
Oh, taking the helmet off of the linebacker or defensive lineman for San Diego. That's what you like to see, a little downhill running. And historically, when you get in these short yardage situations, goal line situations, referees are always a little bit late with the whistle. Now, they may not be doing that intentionally today, but you know, as a running back, you have to churn those legs. That stopping of forward progress, they give you just a little bit more time. And on that last play, I really thought he was in, but we're up a yard short. And for the Vikings, you got to punch this thing in.
Hey, anybody watching or listening via the simulcast, don't forget, following the game, you can react to all the action via Vikings fan line on the flagship FM 100.3 KFAN. Corey Cove and former Viking Mike Morris will take your phone calls. That is via the flagship KFAN.com, no matter where you are. 3rd and goal from the 1:54 to go in the contest. And San Diego leads 9-3. Chargers have 1 timeout remaining. Sage Rosenfels at quarterback. High formation behind Rosenfels. Play action. Sage rolls out to the right. Dumps right. Touchdown, Vikings. It's Matt Asiata. And we are a Blair Walsh extra point from taking the lead.
Well, it looks like that's our scoring play du jour for offense. It's just your basic fake the run inside, let the back sneak out. As you see, Asiata doing a nice job faking it, jetting back on the outside. The linebacker's just too late to get there. So both of our touchdowns offensively, Paul, this preseason have been off the exact same play.
Extra point. Snap spot. Lead. 10-9 with 1:50 to go. Blair Walsh nails the extra point, and the Vikings have the lead with 1:50 to go in the game.
And with San Diego with only with 1 timeout left. Now, Paul, as you take another look at the play with
let's take another look at it.
Going to the front side, coming out the back. You mentioned Blair Walsh.
Boy, the visual of Matt Asiata. As good as it gets.
And what's that with that corner of the end zone? It seems like all of our scores are going right there. Audie Cole twice last week.
Oh, yeah.
Asiata today. It's
a magnet.
It's a hot corner down there.
It's a magnet.
But on a serious note, Paul, you had mentioned Walsh and the kicking and how important it is.
Yep.
Well, in a real life situation, when you punch a ball in to go ahead by 1 point, with 1 minute and 50 seconds left on the clock. This is the time when you want Blair Walsh to put one out of the back of the end zone.
I want to get sneaky and do an onside kick.
That's why you're up here and not down there. No.
Yeah, that's what they said about Sean Payton to begin the second half of the Super Bowl before it bounced off Hank Baskett's face mask.
Well, unfortunately, number one, this isn't the Super Bowl, and there's $1.50 left in the 4th quarter of a preseason game that looks like a pitching duel in spring training.
They'll never see it coming.
It would surprise
You got to work on the onside kick. It's preseason. Who cares? Just do one.
For years,
there's Audie Cole.
For years, we always used to throw a fake punt here and there just to put it on film. So the first couple weeks, teams will get ready for it.
Watch. Yeah, he mishit it by 80 yards. Hey, Blair Walsh booted it out of the end zone. You want to revisit the conversation from the Niners game when you thought it was a preposterous statement? The Minnesota Vikings will not allow a kick return touchdown all year because of the leg of Blair Walsh.
I'll take you on that. I mean, and I don't want to be a negative Nelly, Paul. I really don't.
There only were 9 kick return touchdowns in the entire NFL last year, I think.
It's just when I hear that and how we, I don't know. I don't. We'll see. I might take you up on that before the regular season starts.
Now go ahead and root against the squad.
I'm not rooting against the squad,
That's good for booth camaraderie.
I'm just trying to calm you down a little bit on the rookie.
We're winning 10-9. San Diego's undefeated in the preseason. We're trying to put San Diego on its first preseason loss.
And a long plane ride home for them to think about.
Here's Jarrett Lee, the rookie from LSU, back to pass, loops it right, and it's caught at the 22-yard line. And out of bounds after a decent little gain for the Chargers, making it 2nd and 5. With 1:44 to go in the game, the Vikings have 3 timeouts remaining. The Chargers have 1.
Now you talk about, jumpy feet at quarterback. He just kind of got that thing out of there to Payne, and Payne trying to turn it up, but a nice hit by Bobby Felder. And
Bobby Felder.
These are the guys that had just got done covering a kick and have to go right back in for a 2-minute drill. So they're earning their $600 this week.
By the way, Harrison Smith still in the game. Lee back to pass. He's sacked. Flag on the play. Having a tough time stopping the Vikings defensive line tonight. All waves of it. And the sack there is Nick Reed.
Offense number 72.
Third-year guy from Oregon.
3rd down.
Nick Reed, perhaps making friends and family from Mission Viejo very happy. Yeah. Mission Viejo just about 20 minutes north of San Diego. Nick Reed trying to make this team as a swing defensive lineman. He'd be battling a guy like Jeff Charleston, maybe DeAndre Reed for a backup spot because Everson Griffin is in.
Yeah, you're right about that. And I don't know what's going on with them moving the ball up. We got some miscommunication here.
Little miscommunication here. So Harrison Smith's out of the game. Hey, just a quick recap. Mr. L. Raymond, the starting safety, as Ben Lieber reported, injured himself in pregame warmups, was not able to play tonight. Leslie Frazier will be interviewed by Greg Coleman on the flagship FM 100.3 The Fan after the game. Maybe get an update on Mr. L. Raymond there. And outside of that, Christian's performance a little uneven.
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson warmed up in the pregame. Looked pretty good, looked pretty speedy. Won't play next week against Houston, but should play against Jacksonville. 10-9 Vikings. Lee, the rookie from LSU, back to pass. Passes over the middle, incomplete. Harrison Smith's going to get flagged for unnecessary roughness. Harrison Smith blasted the backup receiver. That might be the old helmet to helmet.
I think, he just went up after what they're going to probably call it the defenseless receiver, if you will.
Yep.
But
might be a blow to the head.
Personal foul. Defense number 22. Unnecessary roughness. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. 1st down.
Puts the Chargers in. Remember, Nate Kading hit one from 54.
Yeah, that's always a thing. But try to keep it above Audie Cole.
Ooh.
His shoulder. It's not a bad. But I'm telling you, on this kind of a situation, he really needs to step up and try to make the play on the ball, make that interception. Safeties.
Did you see that?
They always want to step up and make the big hit, and you know that Harrison Smith's that kind of guy. He's got a little linebacker in him. He wants to light some people up.
Yep.
But you can't. Possession's 10/10 of the law. You have to go after that interception.
Listen to the crowd chanting defense. Audie Cole's on a blitz. Lee back to pass. Fires left. Caught in Vikings territory at the 45-yard line. Here come the Superchargers. That is Taylor Embry, a rookie wide receiver from UCLA. Chargers with 1 timeout remaining. The Vikings have 3. It's time for Audie Cole to intercept a pass and go 65. 10-9 Vikings. Minute 10 to go. Jarrett Lee, 2 receivers left and 1 right. Here it is. The preseason's on the line. Fires it right, and it's caught at the 28-yard line. The Superchargers are rallying down to the 28-yard line. And Leslie Frazier runs out on the field to have the Vikings take a timeout, one of their 3, with 56 seconds to go in the 3rd preseason game. At Houston on Thursday night. Backups will play in that game most likely. As the frontliners go in that game, I think the A topic would be John Carlson making his debut for the Vikings. I talked to John before the game. The Litchfield native who has missed some time during his career with the Seahawks.
Right.
He's had some injury problems, and he's been out this preseason. He told me he expects to debut against Houston and at least get a few snaps in that game, and then maybe that would pave the way for him to play versus Jacksonville. If you're going to have a tight end-based offense, it'd be nice to have all your tight ends.
No, it would be nice, and you're going to have some tough decisions with the group that we have. I mean, Rhett Ellison, Alan Reisner, Mickey Schuler, they've all shown up this preseason. So, you know, whoever's coaching that group, give them a raise, because those guys are showing up and playing.
John Carlson wants to get out of that hat and into a helmet. Hand off to the tailback to the right side, taken down at the 27-yard line. It's a gain of 1 yard, making it 2nd and 9 with 52 seconds to go in the third preseason game. Vikings lead 10-9.
Now, and that's one of the, you know, that's for you folks keeping score at home.
Yeah.
And you coaches, whenever a team's in the red zone, even though there's only 50-some seconds left on the clock or a minute left, if an offense has timeouts in their pocket, you always have to be aware of the run. So a nice job up front by the defensive line to step up and make a play. But for next week, Paul, it is hard to come up. It is hard to come up with storylines. I just think your guy is going to be it. I mean, can
Bethel Thompson?
Can he actually step up and turn enough heads to?
I hope so.
Get picked up by Kansas City and become a starter?
Now, why would you say something like that? Tyler Thigpen threw a couple of interceptions last week, or at least one. McLeod John Baltazar Bethel Thompson does not want to emulate that. As Lee hands the ball up to Baker, and he is stuck at the line of scrimmage with 48 seconds and counting to go in the game.
Guess who?
You know what the Chargers are doing now? Paving the way for Nate Kading or Nick Novak, one of their two kickers. They both have hit field goals in this game. Yeah, that was a nice little hit there by Audie Cole.
I know, and the more I watch this kid play, and you know, he's big and maybe not that fast. And
who, Audie Cole?
The draft now is about numbers, and how fast you are. And if you're a good solid player, but you're not running that elite 4.5 speed, 4.6 speed, and linebacker, you're not going to go in the first 3 rounds. Bottom line, no matter how good you were in college. And you know, Audie I think represents what's best about the NFL, in that guys from obscurity, 7th round pick. I'll call that obscurity. You got a less than a 50-50 chance of making a squad.
Yes, sir.
To come out and impress. And there's still room for playmakers in this league. And what other sport can an undrafted free agent like a John Randall from West Texas A&I Kingsville, or Texas A&I Kingsville, excuse me, come in and work his way to the Hall of Fame?
High formation behind Jarrett Lee. Chargers trail by 1. Tied into motion to the left. And Lee hands it off to Jacob Hester. And Hester is run down from behind by former New Orleans Saint Jeff Charleston.
Now, Paul, if you're the San Diego Chargers, do you attempt the field goal right here, right now, in case of the bad snap? The holder can throw it away, and you get to kick it again on 4th down. What do?
I kick the field goal. I win. And then I walk out of here undefeated in the preseason. I have all the media members, or I have players on the team feel good about being undefeated in the preseason. I play that 4th preseason game, and I hope not playing Phillip Rivers and Antonio Gates tonight does not affect me into the regular season.
Yeah, and I have to remember
it's Nick Novak to try to dagger us as the clock runs down to 4 seconds.
Well,
Chargers use their final timeout.
And I forget, you know what? I'm having a senior moment, but Mitch Berger.
Yeah.
I remember I believe it was in 2001 when the Vikings did exactly that against the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau.
At Lambeau was the immaculate deflection game where it bounced off Dishman and Antonio Freeman beat your squad.
Right, and that's the situation again where we decided that the Vikings tried to kick the field goal on 3rd down. Where
Mitch Berger looked really comfortable rolling out to the right, didn't he?
For the exact reason of that. Bad snap, pick the thing up and throw it out of bounds and line it up and try to kick it again. And, well, you know, obviously you see what happens.
Quickly, before Novak tries this game-winning field goal, do you think Randy Moss will be with the 49ers when they come here week 3 of the season?
You know what? I'm wondering if Randy's going to make it out of the preseason. I just don't see them using him that much either. The decision, I think, is made either way. Either they're really counting on him this year and they're just letting him rest, or with that logjam that they have at that position, they have some talent now. Whether or not it develops is one thing, but they went from a wide receiver poor team to having too many.
Here it is. The preseason's on the line. Nick Novak from 45 between the hash marks. The Vikings lead 10-9. Snap, good spot, down, right-footed kick is up, and it is good. It's a walk-off winner for the San Diego Chargers. They have defeated the Minnesota Vikings 12-10. Just about a minute to go here in the simulcast. Your final take from this evening's preseason game, Pete?
My big take is that we're not good enough to come out and play anybody if we're flat. Just a lack of emotion early. Defense, you can't ask for much more. They give up 10 points.
Yep.
But offensively, way too many turnovers. Way too flat. Not explosive enough. Turnovers in the red zone. We can't punch it in. So the team's got to get together. They have to come out fired up. You can't play without emotion, especially at home, and we learned that today.
Vikings finished with a bunch of sacks tonight. Jared Allen had a couple. We had him wired thanks to the Vikings Entertainment Network. If you missed any of it, make sure you go to Vikings.com to listen back to all of it. And we close the preseason next Thursday from Reliant Stadium against the Houston Texans. Then the regular season opener September 9th against Jacksonville. Single game seats available for that right now at Vikings.com. On behalf of Pete Bursich, Ben Lieber, and Greg Coleman, I'm Paul Allen. The Chargers beat the Vikings 12-10 in the final preseason game at Mall of America Field. Have a wonderful evening.